15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Can the Eagles win a close game if this Super Bowl is one score headed into the fourth quarter? Welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. We're live from Radio Row in New Orleans. It's Thursday, which means this thing is getting real, Pearl. We're seeing Saquon Barkley in our hotel lobby. Everyone's arriving to the site of Super Bowl 59. And, you know, maybe because we're staying at the Eagles hotel just by chance, it kind of feels like there's just tons of Eagles fans around. But the biggest thing they're going to deal with, in my opinion, is what happens if this is just like Super Bowl 57 and this is a close game in the fourth quarter and we know what the Chiefs do when it's close.
Yeah, I don't even know why this is a question. What, 17-0 in one-score games, the last 17 games for the Chiefs? They can't be a close game if the Eagles want to win. This is really a dangerous spot for a couple reasons. One, the Chiefs are so poised in these situations. Two, Patrick Mahomes pulls out the scrambles when it's a close game, and there's just no way you can stop Mahomes in a must-score drive. So where the Eagles also have Jalen Hurts running the ball, but I just think the Chiefs are 100% in that situation.
Listen, the Eagles really haven't played, at least on the score sheet and the box score, have not played a close game in this postseason, right? They got out to a lead against Green Bay. It was good night. The Rams tried to make a furious comeback, but that was also in the snow, weird game. And then the Commanders, they had that thing pretty much under control after halftime. So they really, haven't been tested in that way in the postseason. Oh, I love that. Now, here's where I'm going to give you a little hope, because I don't think that the Eagles have to blow out the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. I actually think the Eagles can win a close game against the Chiefs if indeed that's how the game goes. Do you want to know why?
Please.
Okay, I'm going to tell you why. The Kansas City Chiefs have won 3 Super Bowls. Obviously, they're going for the three-peat now, but they've already won 3. In all 3 of those Super Bowls, they've had a deficit in the fourth quarter. The first one, 2019 season against San Francisco, is 20-10. San Francisco lead going into the fourth quarter. Kansas City scored 21 fourth-quarter points to come back. Against your Eagles, 2022. Philadelphia had a 27-21 lead going into the fourth quarter. Kansas City scored 17 points in the fourth quarter. Against San Francisco last year, Kansas City technically leading 13-10 heading into the fourth, but the San Francisco 49ers were driving and finished that drive early in the fourth quarter with a score and quickly took the lead 16-13.
I thought you were going to tell me something that made me feel better.
Okay, no, this is what and obviously they won all 3 of these Super Bowls. But this is where you should feel better about this. I think the Eagles are set up to sit on a lead. Because you have Saquon Barkley and because you have the better skill position players, but mostly because of Barkley and Jalen Hurts' ability to run the ball too, which obviously, pull out all the stops. It's the Super Bowl. They have not played a team who had that ability. Kyle Shanahan, the first Super Bowl, 2019, starts throwing the ball, like when they're up, which has become a Shanahan staple, which is silly.
Yeah, so did Lamar Jackson and the Ravens last year.
I know, but you have the Eagles, you're one of their biggest fans. The Eagles actually have the formula. I'm not going to say you can bleed clock if it's 16-13. You still want to be aggressive, but you can be aggressive in the run game, and you can eat major chunks of clock in the fourth quarter. You can win a close game.
Well, I mean, the Bills have that formula, too. They had a great run game.
The Bills, I don't think are... They do. They went away from it. I think the coaching staff is actually is probably going to be... has to be a bit smarter than what Buffalo did, what the Ravens did.
That's easier said than done. The Chiefs did that to the Ravens last year's AFC title game. They got them out of their game. So that somehow Steve Spagnuolo's going to do a Jedi mind trick. Watch. If it's a close game, he's going to convince Nick Sirianni and the Eagles coaching staff to throw the ball. They're going to just stack the box for Saquon. So then somehow the Chiefs keep doing this. They force the opposing offense out of their comfort zone.
Okay, but here's the other thing about when the Chiefs are playing teams like the Bills or like the Ravens. Those are quarterback-centric offenses, right? No. I know they
the
don't.
Ravens are not necessarily.
But what was happening at the end of that game? Throwing to Mark Andrews, obviously,
Right.
which,
But generally, they are a heavy run team.
they wanted to be.
Right.
But push came to shove. The quarterback was the best player on the offense. We've talked about what your hope and dream and prayer for this Super Bowl is that Jalen Hurts is a complementary piece. I don't think there's going to be that desire, urge, oh gosh, now Jalen's got to go win it for us. Like, oh, Josh Allen had to go win it for us. They're not going to do that kind of thing, in my opinion, because Barkley is really the thing. So to me, close game because of Barkley, that changes things, and you can win a close game.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. But, again, they're very similar with the Bills and the Ravens. I think the Ravens are the mirror image of the Eagles because they had Derrick Henry run for 2,000 yards, just like Saquon Barkley ran for 2,000 yards. So you're right. The formula should work, but the Chiefs have just defied any formula. The Niners last year, why could they sit on a lead? They had Christian McCaffrey.
Well, what happened? I mean,
They got to overtime.
They got
and
to
they
overtime
lost.
and they lost. But I don't think that you would. First of all, I do think, if we're just going back to last year's Super Bowl, not to rub salt in the wounds to all of our friends in Northern California, but I think they screwed up. They screwed up like in a strategy because they didn't go for the touchdown. They kicked a field goal in overtime and gave the ball to Patrick Mahomes.
Right. Here's the thing.
That's just a brain fart or not understanding the new rules or whatever happened.
Again, right. You look at every game and there's an individual circumstance and the same result happens to the end. The Chiefs walk off winners. And there are all these different reasons. It's like, yes, that's why I know it doesn't make sense. The Chiefs are going to win a close game because that's what they do. I understand your formula and that sounds great. But I think I kind of believe the Chris Sims line that we've been talking about this week, they have to crush them like the Super Bowl where Tom Brady and the Bucs beat them. Like they need to just pulverize Patrick Mahomes and that offensive line. And that, I think, that would be the Eagles' strength is Jalen Carter coming up the middle and those pass rushers coming around the edge. I think when you say crush, that really means your pass rush has to crush the Chiefs.
Listen, they might be able to because the Chiefs' offensive line has had to shuffle around some guys. Now, Jalen Carter missed his media availability yesterday because he's not feeling well. Under the weather. Get it? Little New Orleans flu. I don't know. Maybe just not feeling good. But he does have until Sunday evening to get better. Let's put up on the poll, EJ, can the Eagles win a close game against the Chiefs? Can I give you another reason why I think the Eagles could win a close game?
Right.
It's something we've been talking about all week and for weeks, quite frankly, with the Chiefs and the calls that they get. You're talking about if this is a close game and Patrick Mahomes' ability to scramble. And what happens when you scramble? Well, he exposes himself maybe to injury, but he also, the defense has to be very careful not to have some penalty on Mahomes that gives them a free first down.
Right.
Keeps drives alive. I think all the chit-chat about the Chiefs getting calls, I think that definitely seeps into the referees, like even if it's unconscious or subconscious, whatever. I do think that in a big spot, they may think twice. And again, it might not even be like top of mind, a ref's just making a split-second decision. And so, I know they're highly trained, but this could end up working in the Eagles' favor. The fact that all the chit-chat has been, are Mahomes and the Chiefs going to get ticky-tack calls?
Yeah, no, Mahomes was clearly, I said this during the game, like there's no way that he was going to get a roughing call against Buffalo. And I don't think he did. They got that fourth down call.
Yeah, after what happened against the Texans.
They could have come after him with a 4x4 and hit him in the head. There was no way Mahomes was getting a call. But
spit up my water.
Then again, do you really? Okay, so even if you take out the roughing, you think you're stopping that offense in the fourth quarter? I don't care. They'll find another way.
To be fair, you have the better playmakers. Like, on paper, you do. Xavier Worthy is a rookie. Travis Kelce is going to be Kelce or he's not. I don't know. Kelce wasn't a big factor in the passing game against Buffalo.
McCole Hardman caught the game winner last year. Like, it doesn't – the Chiefs – that's totally irrelevant. The Chiefs' offense, it doesn't matter who their playmakers are come playoff time. Juju Smith-Schuster will have a huge catch, just like he did in the last Super Bowl. So it doesn't – no. I'm not going to – you can't tell me that the playmakers, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, is any kind of advantage over the Chiefs. But the Chiefs will hit you with 8 different – who knows? It'll be Justin Watson or Noah Gray or some rando who just comes out of nowhere and catches – like Samaje Perine is going to probably have the first down that clinches the game again. There's too many weapons with Kansas City.
855-212-4227. We're on the road in New Orleans, day 4 here on Radio Row. But just because we're on the road doesn't mean we can't talk to you. The show is still the show, even if we're not in the studio. And Titan Maniac, who's in our chat, you can watch us on YouTube and Twitch, says it's funny how nobody's mentioning the Super Bowl that the Chiefs got destroyed by a great defense, a la Philly. And by the way, Kansas City was favored by 4. I don't remember Kansas City being favored in that Super Bowl, but I believe you, Titan. And we know what the formula was there. They just ripped apart the Chiefs' offensive line, and Mahomes was running for his life.
Chiefs' offensive line had injuries. They had Mike Remmers, the worst Super Bowl tackle of all time, twice. So, yeah, that's exactly.
Really
that's
hope we
formula.
don't run into him today.
that is the formula. Just hope that the left tackle loses his footing all game, and you have your version of Shaq Barrett going to town. That is what you have to do. You have to crush this team. And, I kind of thought the Eagles did last time because Mahomes was limping all over the field in the first half. Then they did something in the 48-minute halftime that was probably nefarious, and he came out and he had no limp. So I have no idea what that was. But obviously he probably got a painkiller or some kind of shot. That long halftime also favors the Chiefs. Like, even if you get after them in the first half, to keep it up in the second half, the Chiefs are a great adjustment team. You saw it against the Bills. Like, they're just very well coached. They're very disciplined. That's the other thing. This officiating edge, it's also because the Chiefs are so darn disciplined.
Yeah.
They do not screw up. The Eagles, this particular Eagles team has not been tested like that. Maggie, make great points about why the Eagles can win a close game. None of it's sinking in. It's just like coming into the fourth quarter against that Chiefs team, it's just a scary proposition.
855-212-4227. Okay, so that's a little what we're thinking about as the Super Bowl is drawing nearer and nearer. And yeah, can the Eagles win a close game? I think yes. Perloff thinks they have to. I mean, what do you think? It has to be a 3-score lead heading into the fourth quarter? How big of a lead does it have to be for you to feel anywhere comfortable?
Yes. I mean, honestly, they had that lead over the Rams, and the Rams almost stormed back. Who knows if that was on a dry field, what might have happened. Yeah, 3 scores would be good. At least over 2 scores. Over 10 points to start with. Like, that's a given.
Okay.
But it can't be. The comeback again in 2019, the Chiefs scored like 2 minutes into the fourth quarter. It was like a 1-score game. Like, that comeback to me is overstated somewhat. It wasn't 28-3. So 28-3, the Patriots came back in their dynasty. I would take a 31-0 halftime lead and feel good.
I don't know. You might not get that.
Honestly, and even that.
Might be a little closer.
31-0. I'm like, ooh, I don't know. They got Mahomes.
I feel like it's more like 7-0. I think this game is going to be low scoring, but we'll get into that a little bit too about game flow.
I think the Eagles need a big lead to feel comfortable. You try and live bet against the Chiefs. If it's a close game, I'm sure the Chiefs are going to be. They could be down 6. I'm sure they'll be favored by Vegas.
Yeah, of course. Okay, 855-212-4227. Can I give you guys a little taste of who we have on tap for you today? Super Bowl champions, current head coaches who may have just won a championship. Let me just tell you who we're talking to today. Jim Harbaugh, the LA Chargers head coach, is going to join us today. Joey Porter Sr. won a Super Bowl with the Pittsburgh Steelers, of course, and multiple-time All-Pro is going to join us. Could be the future of the league. Jalen Milroe, Alabama quarterback, is going to join us. And later in the show, Cowboys legend Emmitt Smith will be here on our set. Looking forward to this fantastic day. So glad you're with us here in New Orleans. Well, along for the ride with us in New Orleans. It's 855-212-4227 to get in touch with the show. We want to say good morning to everyone listening to us on SiriusXM channel 375. We made it easy for you to remember the switch in channel number. Babe Ruth, John Elway, Reggie Bush. 375. That's where you'll find us every morning. Of course, on the Odyssey app, on our Infinity Sports Network stations, YouTube, Twitch, and on X. Let's get it going. Can the Eagles win a close game? You tell us. It's M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff show, and it is our pleasure to be joined by a Super Bowl champion, someone who's been to this big game and won it, four-time Pro Bowler and All-Pro linebacker Joey Porter on the set on behalf of GNC, and we'll get to that in just a moment. And Joey, okay, so full disclosure, Perloff and myself used to work at Sports Illustrated. This is where we met and first then teamed up now on radio. Perloff wants to tell you about this photo that hung in our office for years.
So, right, it's the NFL preview. I believe it's 06. and you're shirtless except for shoulder pads. What was that photo shoot like? Did you have to think about it? And you look great, obviously. But.
It was actually I caught a lot of crap for that photo shoot just with my guys because
Yeah.
we're in training camp, and I don't know that I'm getting picked for Sports Illustrated to cover. They say, hey, man, come down here. We're going to take some we had Sports Illustrated. It's you and a few guys for the cover. We don't know who we're going to take yet, but we still want to shoot you for the Sports Illustrated. So I'm fired up because either way, I'm getting in Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a photo, so I don't know it's a cover, but I know I'm getting a photo. And we had won the championship, so, like, Casey was, when it came out, he was so mad at me.
Oh, no.
Because he's like, look at you in there with your shirt off. He said, why you got your shirt off? I said, man, this is the photo they asked me. Like, I didn't this is not my idea. What really ticked him off is, where's it at? Most feared player in the NFL.
As Joey Porter, most feared player in the NFL. And you look fearsome in the picture.
Yeah, you were mean mugging. Did they also ask you for a smile photo?
No,
Or no?
I gotta play it to the what they calling it, right?
Yeah.
The cover is most feared player in the NFL. I didn't know it was going to say that on it. So when it went to most feared, I think that's what made Casey Hampton mad because, like, everybody on my defense feel like they're that person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I played with 11 most feared guys, and they gave me the cover, so I called crap for that, but it was funny.
So do you have a picture of this hanging up in the house
I
anywhere?
have millions of those photos. It's so bad. You go to one of my bathroom, I'm staring at you while you're using the restroom.
Most feared man in the bathroom.
And Hemp goes down there. He's like, Peasy, seriously, man, you just go stare at me while I'm using the restroom, man? Why you got that picture? I said, Christy put that in there, man. I don't put that in there. So, like, they send you a million copies. They send you a big cutout.
Yeah.
They send you all these different pictures. So, like, my wife was all excited about it. We handed out so many to the family. And then, like, they're just in random places in the house. So, like, you go into the bathroom, I'm staring at you. You might open this room, and here I'm staring at you again. It's like,
You know the Mona Lisa, they say her eyes follow you as you're going across the Louvre? It's just like you with Joey Porter who's here with us on behalf of GNC.
That night that Joey Porter Jr., your son, got drafted, did you see it coming? And when that was actually called, was it an emotional moment for you?
it definitely was emotional. If I can tell you who he was going to, I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's why we were in that situation, because it's a draft. You don't know where you're going. We got a good inkling that we're getting picked, but to where we didn't know.
Yeah.
And how it happened, like, we were so mad at day one when it didn't happen, to where neither one of us looked at who had the 32nd pick. That's how horrible it was. Like, we flew home after the draft because he didn't even look to see that the Steelers was picking next. Like, that's how distraught he was and just mad at the whole process. We were at home before we realized the Steelers has the first pick of the day.
Oh.
So what made the thing special was, like, I was born in Kansas City, Missouri. They had the draft in Kansas City, Missouri. That was my son's first time being back where his dad was born. And so we got family that lives in Kansas City. So he was like, Dad, this is crazy how it comes full circle. I'm going to get drafted in Kansas City, Missouri, where you was born at. And all of our family went down there for that. He didn't get his name called, and he was so distraught. He flew out. He didn't want to wait. So we laugh about it now. It's like, you could have walked across the stage the very next day.
I know.
But he wanted to get out of there because he just, in his mind, he thought he let somebody down. I'm like, how? We're here because of you. You're the reason why 150 people flew to Kansas City. Like, we're here for you. We don't give a damn if you got drafted the last pick of the 7th round. We still was here for you. But it's just the pressure he put on himself. You know what I mean? It comes with it.
Well, we're talking with Joey Porter. Joey Porter Jr. now also plays for the Steelers, where you were a legend, an All-Pro, and a Super Bowl champion. Do you think he's felt that pressure his whole life if you had to keep having these conversations over and over with having to play in your shadow?
Well, he had that pressure early on, and I told him right away, like, man, we share the same name. You don't even have to play football, none of the sports, if you feel like it's too much for you. He's like, no, Dad, I love playing football. I want to play football. So I just already let him know that don't allow them to put pressure on you. You're walking your own journey. My turn was my turn. I had fun with my turn. it's all about you, and don't even let them compare you. So, like, when they compare, I defer to my son is better off the top. Like everything that he's done started off better than mine. Like, he was a 4-star. I had 0 stars. He went to Penn State. I went to Colorado State. I love my school, but he went to Penn State. Bigger, played on a bigger level. He made All-American. I was 3rd team All-American. I got drafted 3rd round, 73rd pick. He got drafted 32nd pick. You know what I'm saying? But you tell yourself you're 2nd rounder because it was the next day. So you did everything right, and you're still doing it better than I did. So
Well, except for one thing.
I had a championship.
No, was he the most feared player in the NFL?
No, I haven't earned that yet. He hasn't earned that yet.
It's kind of hard as a defensive back.
He has a long time to earn that. That comes with you gotta kick a couple teeth in to get that.
So Joey Porter is here with us on set on behalf of GNC. Right before we get to that, one thing about the $1,000,000 question here for the Steelers is who are they going to choose? Now they've got 2 quarterbacks. I know season didn't end how anyone wanted to. 5-game losing streak, including the playoffs. Now they got to pick between Fields and between Russ, or maybe door number 3.
Yeah.
I mean, you are a coach also. You understand Mike Tomlin's sort of thought process. Where do you think they're going to go?
I like both of the quarterbacks, but if we're being honest, you got to do what works best for your team. Like, I don't know what kind of offense we're going with, right? We started off the beginning of the year, we want to be a running offense. Obviously, Fields is the guy. If we're going to run, ball, get Najee, get Patterson, and get all the running backs that we have, you have to be able to run the ball. Like, it does no good to run zone read offense if the quarterback's never going to keep it, right? Take that out. So, like, if Russell ain't going to never keep it, why even implement that offense? If you look at the offense, they had 2 different offenses. The one we ran with Fields, that was a run-based offense. We opened the game with a quarterback power when Fields is in the game. You see what I'm saying? Like, let's be honest, you got to judge them on the same curve. We opened the game with a quarterback power when Fields is. We're not opening the game with quarterback power when it's Russell. So they have 2 different playbooks. What playbook do you want to live in is the question. What playbook is your offense built around to really do it?
I want to peg you into, okay, who should they go with? But let's talk about GNC. It's why you're here. Fitness, obviously. We see the cover of Sports Illustrated, and you've continued that on. Why was GNC a right fit for you?
Well, GNC is, they local. You know what I mean? Their headquarters in Pittsburgh. They've been a partner with the Steelers for years. So, like, anybody been a partner with the Steelers that long, at some point in time, you're going to be a partner with Joey Porter Sr. I've been using GNC products since I was in the NFL. Even before that, my kids grew up off GNC products. It's what they've been taught and what they've been at. It's only certain things that I bring in my house. I bring in the stuff that, like, we're never going to fail any banned substances in my house. That's just not going to happen. Like, we don't need it that bad to take anything that's cutting edge, right? Like, we're not looking for that type of advantage. Multivitamins, stuff like that, pre-workout, creatine, stuff that you can read the bottle, that you know what's in there, just going to just give you a little more strength, stuff like that. That's what we've been lived on. That's how I became the most feared guy on the thing, using the GNC products. Like, it got me strong enough to, at my strongest when I was working out, I was strong enough to where I don't need to take nothing else. If I can't get the job done, I'm benching 475 pounds. If that ain't enough for me to play football, then shit, I ain't about to take nothing else that's going to – I mean, that's plenty strong enough, right?
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
That was it.
475,
that was it, man. I ain't Harrison. Like, I ain't trying to –
squat?
500, but I wasn't going no past that. So my chest, my arms was damn near as strong as my legs. That's bad because I had little legs, right? I've always had little legs, but they was fast. So I didn't even live in that world. But with GNC, live well, how I take it now is just to take care of my body. I'm not lifting to be.
I love GNC, but I could have gone there forever and not got to 475.
You could take every vitamin on this planet. Not going to happen. GNC.com is where you can find more about it. Joey Porter Sr., thank you so much. And loved watching you play. Love watching your son play.
Yeah, we are the least feared radio host.
No, man, you just now put out something good. Like, I got some good content right there. Like I can imagine when I get off this phone call right now, Casey Hampton's somewhere around cussing me out right now because y'all brought up that picture again.
Well, I can't wait. You got to invite us to the house so we can sit in the bathroom and see the poster.
That sounded funny. Joey, thank you.
All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
You generally invite yourself over to Super Bowl champions' homes so that you can use their bathroom.
Yeah.
Wait, maybe you'll get that invite. Not sure. In the chat, Drunkle Sam is asking us on youtube.com/Infinity Sportsnet, twitch.tv/Infinity Sports Network. Maggie, has anybody in the entourage gotten in trouble yet? Has anyone in the Maggie and Perloff entourage gotten in trouble yet? We will answer that in just a moment. But Andrew Bogusch has headlines for us on this Thursday. Hey, Bogusch.
Hey, guys. Good morning. These headlines are sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Your small business keeps you on the go. Progressive Commercial Insurance keeps your policy within reach with our easy-to-use mobile app. Learn more at progressivecommercial.com. Who the bleep is Manny Rodriguez? The paperwork is still being finalized, but the NBA's messiest divorce is complete.
Yeah, finally.
Jimmy Butler's on his way, finally.
It's amazing how versatile that became.
Jimmy Butler on his way from Miami to Golden State in a complicated multi-team trade that apparently almost ended up with Butler going to Phoenix and KD returning to the Warriors, but Durant nixed that one.
I'm the petty king.
So the Dubs take Butler and are expected to sign him to a 2-year, $111 million extension. The Heat take back Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, and a top 10 protected first-rounder this summer. Utah gets Dennis Schroeder from Golden State. Detroit gets Josh Richardson from Miami. We also have the Lakers unloading one of our faves, Dalton Connect, plus Cam Reddish, and a 2031 first-rounder on the Hornets.
Cam Reddish.
For 7-footer Mark Williams, who has averaged 16 points and 9 rebounds this season without me knowing that he existed.
Wait, Perloff, what did you say about Dalton Connect that got you in trouble for all the fans in Tennessee?
I didn't like when he pointed to his ring finger after winning the SEC title.
Oh, right.
I thought
That
he had
got people big mad.
Bigger goals.
The Pelicans have unloaded Brandon Ingram to Toronto. The Kings get Jonas Valanciunas from Washington, all with the trade deadline coming this afternoon. There were also games last night. The Heat, a 108-101 win in Philadelphia. The Warriors losing in Utah, 131-128. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scored 50 again as the Thunder routed the Suns, 140-109. The Grizzlies pushed their win streak to 4, 138-107 in Toronto, and the Cavs took a thriller in Motown.
Tie game, 5 to go. Garland in the knee end. Back to DG. GG with 2. The 3. Good! Cavs win! Cavs win it! DG with a shot that will reverberate across the state of Michigan.
Well, thankfully, I just checked. Michigan's fine this morning, but the Cavs did win this game 118-115 on Darius Garland's 31-footer. The Mets and Pete Alonso sticking together for at least one more season with no long-term big money deal materializing. The first baseman's reportedly inking a 2-year deal worth $54 million. Alonso can opt out after making $30 million in this coming season.
Boy,
Is Scott Boras washed?
Yes.
I mean,
he's cashing Juan Soto cuts.
Yeah, he just signed a $765 million deal, EJ.
No, let's be real. I could have negotiated that deal. The whole league wanted Juan Soto. I don't think he gets credit for that. That's like the agent of Shohei getting credit for getting $700 million.
Yeah.
Which is also Scott Boras.
Washed, but I think, Alonso had a little to do with this because he didn't have a great season until finally he saved the season
that didn't work
in
out
Milwaukee.
for him.
But anyway, yeah, that was interesting. We got to get more into this Jimmy Butler thing. Sorry, Bogues, didn't mean to step on you. You got more?
The Jaguars are hiring 29-year-old Grant Udinski as offensive coordinator. But don't forget, head coach Liam Cohen will call plays. Udinski, a Vikings offensive assistant this season. Women's number 1, UCLA, fought off 8th-ranked Ohio State, 65-52. Lauren Betts, 19 points, 14 rebounds, 3 blocks. The second-ranked Duke men, 83-54 winners at Syracuse. That's their nation-leading 16th straight win. And from the NHL, the Kings took care of the Canadiens 6-3. LA's won 11 of its last 12 in LA. And the Rangers down the Bruins 3-2. Now, guys, back to you.
Okay, got a lot of things going on here. First, if you guys could see on our chat on YouTube and on Twitch and on X, Perloff's visceral reaction when he finds out that people in their 20s are getting these high-profile jobs. It's just like it's disgust that's coming from like the inside out.
It's not. I'm not disgusted. I'm shocked. I mean, I did not see Grant Udisky coming. I thought he was going to have to do a tight end coach for. Actually, I have no idea who these guys are. But it's just like
no one saw him coming.
Actually, when Bogue said that Liam Cohen's still calling plays, that kind of toned it down a little bit. But like, can you imagine a 28-year-old kid calling plays in the NFL? That'd be insane.
Well, how old was McVay when he got hired? He was calling
31.
plays. Yeah, he's 31. 27, 31. I mean, it's a big difference.
Actually, a pretty big difference.
I know.
Wow,
and listen, McVay grew up like in the league. I'm not sure about Udinski. I'm sure he did too.
But yeah. The crazy McVay thing was he was the youngest coach in the NFL for like 7 years.
Yeah.
Like he's like no one like usurped him when no one came in younger. He was so young when he got that job with the Rams.
Yeah, it was almost like Sam Darnold. Like Sam Darnold's still younger than everybody else in his draft class. I'm like, he's been on 3 teams.
Well,
was he 14 when he got to the NFL? He's like the Doogie Howser of the NFL.
Did McVay beat Tomlin, right? Tomlin was previously the youngest coach hired, wasn't he?
Was that it?
I thought it was
there another
Lane
guy?
Kiffin.
Oh, Kiffin.
Kiffin was
he
very
almost
young.
doesn't count. I feel like, those are guys. And they've had great success. And then there were a bunch of 30-something. Brian Callahan's not 40
No,
yet.
he's not very. And Mike McDonald, these guys are not.
Kevin O'Connell was in the league not long ago. How old is he? And Sirianni, by the way, is in his second Super Bowl.
45.
Is he
43.
43? Yeah, I mean, it's a young man's game, which is funny because Andy Reid is 66 and probably the best coach.
I mean, is it a young man game? Pete Carroll just got hired.
Yeah,
it's kind of a
great
young
point.
man and an old man game.
By the way, I was going to say, I know I said that being an NBA general manager for a bad team for 7 years is the best job. Also, being an offensive coordinator where you don't call plays is a great sports job.
Cushy.
Like, you don't call the plays, so they can't blame you for any of the issues, but you got some genius drawing stuff up like Ben Johnson or all these guys. Like, that's the job you want in the NFL.
What does, like, the Rams offensive coordinator do?
Right.
I get coffee, paninis.
And
I have
then
no
he gets
idea.
the next head coaching job.
Yeah. I always thought the most thankless job was being like Peyton Manning's offensive coordinator. Cause like he's changing everything at the line of scrimmage anyway, or Aaron Rodgers' offensive coordinator. But those guys were getting hired.
I don't know. Tom Moore was a big part of Peyton Manning. Like, I'm not sure. I always thought that Peyton Manning audibling was a bit overstated because he had like 3 options in front of him. It wasn't like he got to the line and said, "All right, I'm going to draw up a new thing out of nowhere." Anyway, that's just my take on that. It's a good point. If you have an older quarterback, he's going to coach. Did someone tell us yesterday Tom Brady basically coached the Bucs team?
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
So we got that percolating for you. Perloff's just utter disdain for these young guys getting these big jobs.
Me too.
And then Manny also bitter. You're also in your 20s and bitter.
Yeah.
So we talked to Joey Porter Jr. about him being on this, SI cover that used to hang in our office, where it said the most feared man in the NFL. He's got no shirt on, shoulder pads. He's got the close haircut and mean mugging for the camera. And it's amazing. He said it's hanging in his bathroom. So this has sparked a conversation in the chat about the SI swimsuit issue. And the only reason I'm bringing it up is because our own Andrew Kaplan even weighed in. So according to the chat, Drunkle Sam says our swimsuit edition was not allowed in the bathroom. And Cap said the same in my house.
What?
Who's keeping an eye on that? What do you have to, check it out like it's a library? Is it, under lock and key? How does that even work? You're not allowed to, I get why. But who's there standing in front of the bathroom and monitoring what you take in there?
And also, who's going
Bueller?
into the bathroom with a magazine during the day for your mom to be like, you shouldn't do that now?
Well, why is your mom even paying that close attention that she knows what you're taking in
She
there?
shouldn't be awake to be paying attention to where you are and what you're doing.
Oh, your issue is with the time.
Yeah, at 3:30 in the afternoon, they're right. You should not be taking that into the bathroom for other than bathroom purposes.
3:30 in the morning, though.
Right.
Man.
Wait, what?
I didn't realize that was part of this conversation. But anyway, I didn't realize also that maybe moms were monitoring this.
I was not in my household. It was just a very awkward moment where, all the other issues show up at the house that get delivered, and the swimsuit issue is just
sitting there.
Just sitting there. Nobody makes a comment about it.
Can I tell you a true story? Perloff knows this. When they would deliver the swimsuit issue to our office, it would be left in front of all of our offices and everyone's cubicle face down.
I know. That was.
We have no idea why.
Right.
That's weird.
That's back when the Sports Illustrated swimsuit thing was a thing. Now it's just embarrassing in the era of the internet.
Well, I mean, yeah, we talk about that, but it's just funny to me
Yeah.
that we had the covers of these women, Tyra Banks and, Christy Brinkley and all that, are hanging up 8 by 8, like just gigantic posters of them. But for some reason, when they would deliver the magazine to us, it would be face down.
Right.
I have no idea.
I'm just saying that feels like a bygone era because it's so tame now. I mean, open Instagram. I'll go to my Instagram page right now, and there'll be 50 things that are way dirtier.
Just watch the Grammys.
Probably shouldn't admit that. They're there for a reason, buddy.
Yeah, the algorithm is.
Knows.
It
knows.
knows.
It's reading
Thank
your
you, Mark
mind.
Zuckerberg.
I heard a funny line. Big Cat was talking the other day. He's like, "Yeah, I have to watch all the videos with the women with big chests just so I keep getting fed them in the algorithm." I was like, how are you the most popular podcaster? That's how.
Yeah. Okay, 855-212-4227. Bogues, thanks. We will get back into our question about the Super Bowl, which is, can the Eagles win a close game? You know, the Chiefs have trailed in the fourth quarter in all 3 of the Super Bowls that they've won. But if the Eagles can get a lead, can they sit on it with Saquon Barkley and this great defense? Yes or no? 855-212-4227. And we'll also get into the big Jimmy Butler trade for our friends in the Bay Area. You got playoff Jimmy. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let us know.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining.
Now Bailey rode into town with suspicion in his eyes, saying Kaplan's got a secret and he's hiding it inside. Zach Jobs lost in darkness, Ryan Stream's a mess, Chabelle Wolf's just a spinning wheel. Oh Lord, what a distress. But Maggie and Perloff, they shine so bright, like a star in the desert on a Texas night. Daily say the shade, but I swear on my name, I just push the buttons, I don't play no games. Now Peter Bellotti, well he don't show, and that man's supposed to be running this show. If there's a tech problem, don't look at me. Ask the guy who's missing more than Tennessee teams. So Timmy, my friend.
Break ends in 5 seconds.
The Maggie and Perloff Show on Super Bowl Radio Row is sponsored by Tide Pods. Turn to cold water washing with Tide Pods. When you switch from hot to cold, you could save up to $150 a year on your energy bill. Plus, Tide cleans great in cold. Welcome back. Yesterday, well, when Joey Porter Jr. joined us, I thought he was going to lead with all the Tide Pods on the set. He
was into it.
Really loves Tide, as we do. We'll get back to the Super Bowl question that we have for you, which is, can the Eagles win a close game against the Kansas City Chiefs? 855-212-4227. But the Jimmy Butler trade goes down last night, Pearl, while we're out to a nice company dinner. Very nice of our boss Ryan Hurley to take us all out, and it was super fun. And we find out that Jimmy Butler finally gets his wish. So he's going to Golden State, even though he wanted to go to Phoenix. And I know he didn't get his preferred destination, but in some ways it feels a little like the whiny child got what he wanted. You know, this has been so unsavory how he left Miami, but it was pretty unsavory how he left Minnesota. And it wasn't great how he left Chicago. This is just sort of Jimmy.
Not ideal how he left Philly either.
Well, he felt undervalued and left as a sign and trade, I think, technically,
yeah,
right?
But is this a good thing or a bad thing? Because this all kind of worked out at his next home.
It did. So that's the thing, right? Maybe if we can get past the drama of it all, which is not easy, you know? He looked like a whiner. And, you know, he and Pat Riley got into a war of words last year. I think egos got in the way, and they just needed a split. So now he goes to Golden State. 2 questions that I have about this trade. One, can a Jimmy Butler-Steph Curry pairing with both guys in their mid-30s, can this work immediately?
Damn right.
That would be my first thing. You know, just basketball-wise. Jimmy can kind of fit, I don't say with anybody, but because he can play off the ball, he's got this incredible playoff reputation where he's good in crunch time. Like, I think there are basketball reasons why this definitely works. But that's question number 1. What do you think about the fit?
I mean, I think this is an irrelevant trade. I think there's no chance the 25 and 25 Warriors are getting out of this Western Conference. So I honestly don't see this ending with another title for Steph Curry.
Not this year or next year because Butler signed an extension.
Right. The West is crazy. I mean, honestly, Jimmy Butler, I'm a big fan of Jimmy Butler. I would have liked him to go to a younger team who needs a closer. I just don't think the Warriors are, and maybe I've been fooled before, are the Warriors good enough with this core to get out, you know, to beat these big, tall Western Conference teams? I don't think so. I would have sent him somewhere where that kind of tenacity is needed in the playoffs.
Okay, but here's the thing about Jimmy, and that leads into my second question. A young team that's on the rise, can you bring a guy like Jimmy Butler in? And that's where I think he did damage to his reputation. You know, because
what are you talking about?
Do you want to disrupt chemistry? And do you bring him to the Rockets? You know, a team that, again, on the rise. But now it becomes the Jimmy Butler show. You know, or does he overpower the younger guys and, you know, not be a complimentary piece, but want to be the focal point. Like, that could be the issue with Jimmy. So my second question about whether or not this is going to work, are Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green's personalities going to be able to fit together? And I would just say start the cameras rolling right now, because this has the possibility of being super combustible, or maybe it's great. I have no idea.
But they're so old at this point. Like, are they really, have they not matured to the point where they can't get along?
No, not matured. This is one of the most immature things we saw Jimmy Butler try to get himself out of Miami. I mean, he had to get suspended from the team 3 times.
I don't, honestly, are people really going to care? Is this really going to be like I feel like they even with Jimmy Butler, they don't feel that super relevant. Maybe they have to start winning, and then maybe that will change. But I don't know. I just feel like they obviously want a KD. That feels very clear.
Right.
Because that's the kind of player that could make a major difference. But Jimmy Butler, a 6'7" wingman on that team, like, what is there any chance? If you're not contending for a title, is anyone going to care about potential drama with Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler?
Well, I'm just saying, does that just kind of blow the whole thing up before it even gets a chance? You know, I think that if they get to a play-in game, or if they're a low seed in the playoffs, I don't want to see them if they're all gelling and clicking. This is, you know, these are players with so much experience in the finals. If I'm OKC, who's obviously more talented, but have they been on nearly the bigger stage than the Warriors and Jimmy Butler dragging 2 Heat team to the finals?
But one thing about Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler, they have so much demonstrated success, and I know that they're combustible, but I mean, how many times is Draymond Green, they can make it work. They've made millions of situations work. If they were close to a title, they would definitely put any drama aside.
Okay, and they've blown up situations that could have worked, and that's part of the reason why the original trade that I think everyone wanted couldn't happen. KD
Wow.
and Draymond can't be together, and we get to the KD part of it. I think it's so weak sauce by KD if he didn't want to go back to Golden State because he's afraid that Charles Barkley is going to call him a bus rider. You're afraid so Twitter user 508 is going to call you some name. Like, dude, get offline. No. Get out of your head and go someplace. If you think this is the best basketball decision, don't worry if Charles Barkley calls you a bus rider, because
come on, man,
KD is not going to be the best player on a championship team at his age right now anyway.
But you can't go back to Golden State if you're KD. It was one of the worst personnel decisions in NBA history for KD to go to the Warriors, and like he can't double down on
titles.
It because it's a he'll never. He joined. It was kind of like LeBron joining a super team. Like, that will always be an asterisk on those guys' legacies.
Okay, so the asterisk is there. You're not going to convince everybody, that you were the impetus, or that you were, a missing piece if the Warriors may have been about to take a downslide or whatever. You're never going to convince those people. So why not go back? Like,
because then you have 2 asterisks, like on a nutritional value on a product. You're going to have 2 asterisks. Like, the guy's already got the biggest asterisks of any superstar of all
empty
time.
Calories?
Yeah, you can't, like, honestly, and you say it's about Charles Barkley. The reason that Charles Barkley line resonated, because so many people believe that.
But then he's got to get a backbone and not care what Barkley says on TV.
He's got to get a backbone and not go to Golden State back in 2017.
Well, we can't undo that. And by the way, he did win Finals MVP twice. He did win those 2 titles. It's free agency. He was allowed to go wherever he wanted to go. But yeah, he was going to have to deal with the fallout. And you know what? If you can't handle the smoke, then don't do it. I just can't believe at this point he would still be holding on to this. Like,
are you kidding?
People have formed their opinions,
40 years ago.
Man. No.
Yeah, I mean, he can't go. First of all, he's not going to win probably if he goes back to Golden State anyway. So
he's not winning now.
Why double down on that and then probably not win a title? Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you're not going to win, you might as well not have that extra thing added on top.
See, I thought it was maybe the relationship with Kerr. I don't think he and Kerr, beyond Draymond, but I don't know if he and Kerr really are simpatico. Listen, they won 2 titles.
Just coach him at Team USA.
That's true, but
Why would he not get
that's
along
like
with
6
Steve
weeks.
Kerr?
Well, that was the reports from the Bay Area that they did not see eye to eye. But who knows? I mean, can't that be water under the bridge right now?
Yeah, this Western Conference is so crazy. Like, all these big deals, are any of them going to impact the finals? Like, now the Warriors have to win now, and the Lakers have to win now with Luka and LeBron, and the Mavs have to win now with AD and Kyrie, and probably none of these older guys are going to win. They can't all win. And
meanwhile, you got Jokic.
You got
OKC.
the Thunder. Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Maybe we heard the last from Minnesota? Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah,
Memphis is having a great season, too. Don't sleep
See
on
if they
them.
can stay healthy. 855-212-4227. Lakers also trade for big man Mark Williams. We'll get into that a little bit later. Trade deadline coming up this afternoon. Okay. Coming up next from us, Patrick Mahomes. Talking about his chess match against the Eagles defense. We'll get into that and a big question about Travis Kelce next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Kind of proud of us, you and me.
Why's that?
We've really stayed away from the Travis Kelce Taylor stuff for basically this entire week. And it really has not been a storyline at all as we're coming to you live from Radio Row in New Orleans.
Wait.
But we do have a Kelce question that's football related.
If there is Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce gossip that I'm not aware of, I didn't know something was going on. Fill me in.
No,
I didn't do that on purpose.
No.
I want to know now.
There's nothing going on. That's what I'm saying. I'm proud of us, maybe you and me, but also just like the media in general. She has not really been a talking point heading into this week. It has not been the Taylor show. But here's the thing. It could be the Kelce show in this Super Bowl. And we know Kelce's ability to come through in big games. Doesn't matter what the regular season looked like. Doesn't matter what the last game looked like. And in this playoff run, he's had some incredible moments, but also, had some really low yardage. He hasn't necessarily been the focal point of the offense. And we were thinking about this because Rob Gronkowski has been hanging out on Radio Row. If Kelce wins another Super Bowl on Sunday, does he become the slam dunk greatest tight end of all time?
I think he's past Gronkowski already. I think he's going to go down as the all-time greatest tight end.
Already?
I do.
Even if he doesn't win
Yes.
the fourth, because Gronk does have 4. 3 with the Patriots and 1 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Gronk just didn't play long enough and accumulate enough yards. I think Kelce's longevity is going to give him the edge. And also, he's not done yet.
Kelce said he is not done, so that's one thing. But here's my question. But if you want to go greatest, sometimes, you hate the compiling, stats, right?
Yeah, but
the
there's
fact that
nothing
Kelce plays
compiling about that,
longer.
dude.
No, I know, but the
Yeah.
fact that he would play longer, does that necessarily mean he's better? Gronk played, 11 seasons in the NFL, had, definitely way more injuries than Travis Kelce, took a year off to retire and then came back. But it's Gronk's 11 years, and I think Kelce's in year 12. So they're kind of right around each other.
I mean, they're both uncoverable. Let's start with that. They're all both equally uncoverable. Like, Rob was so big. Gronkowski was so big you couldn't. Double teaming didn't even matter. He would still pluck the ball out. But Travis Kelce is an impossible matchup for any position on the defense. If a linebacker has no chance against him, he can box out a cornerback, and safeties are too slow. He is an impossible matchup in a different way than Gronk. You always knew where Gronk was. He was lumbering down the field. Kelce can do anything he wants. He just tortures every single level of the defense.
Yeah, but yes, you're absolutely right. And maybe for his in terms of pass catching, maybe his ceiling was a little bit higher than Gronk's, but Gronk's blocking ability, Gronk is a beast. I think the one thing that hurts Gronkowski in this specific argument is some of Kelce's greatest games have been the Super Bowl. Super Bowls and AFC Championship games that were watched by 58 million people or whatever. Gronk's Super Bowls don't have that same, he was never in the running for Super Bowl MVP or something like that.
I think that Kelce's playoffs is great. I mean, there's no more sure bet than Kelce over in a playoff game. The fact that this late career, they have saved him for the postseason, that's unbelievable. It's kind of like they did with Gronk at the end, and he just came out like a house on fire. I know they didn't use him the last game, but 2 games ago, he was crazy.
2 receptions for 19 yards against Buffalo, but had 7 catches for 117 yards against Houston.
I think Gronk, for how many years he played? Basically 11 years. There were many ineffective years because of injury. I just think I'm sorry, I don't have anything more complicated than just the time does matter in this case. Gronk's window was too short. Who's more talented? Who would I start a team with for one season? Maybe Gronk, but if I'm doing a list of greatest tight end ever, Travis Kelce's going number 1.
EJ, can we put that on the poll? Greatest tight end ever, Kelce or Gronk? Because we were going to couch it like, does Kelce need to win this title to be considered the greatest? But you already think he's there. What's a little sad about some of these conversations between Gronk and Kelce, it's a great conversation, but you realize a little bit of some of the guys who I'm not going to say are going to be in the dustbin of history, but are clearly not going to get their just due. Like Tony Gonzalez, I think, was so good. And he's not in this conversation of greatest of all time because he didn't win.
But that doesn't mean you're in the dustbin of history.
I know, but you know how we tend, this is our fault. This is like the current, we're so infatuated with just who's the best, who's the best, who's the best.
Yeah,
Sometimes I think we gloss over guys who were elite.
Also, I think there's two kinds. Obviously, there's multiple kinds of tight ends. There's the blocking tight end and the pass catching tight end. Travis Kelce is far on the spectrum to the pass catching, where sort of the Jimmy Grahams and the Darren Wallers and those kind of guys live. And then there's Gronk, who could hybrid for both. So you could make that. I mean, Gronk could have been a left tackle. He was such a good blocker.
Yeah, like Kelce, pure tight end if you want to like really do the blocking and the pass catching.
But also, Kelce is not totally a slouch in blocking. Like, I've seen him pancake guys. Like, he'll get after it. What about do you give either guy an edge on vibe, sort of competitiveness, leadership, anything like that? Because Kelce is a big personality.
And Gronk, shy violet.
Yeah, no, Gronk too. I'm saying, like, I'm curious, like, as far as, like, who's a winner. Yeah.
I think that's probably a wash. I mean, Kelce, was Gronk the leader of those teams? No, I think that Brady was the leader of those teams. Do I think Kelce's a little bit more vocal leader? Maybe, but I think Gronk brought a certain something that was probably very important to that locker room because Belichick is such a taskmaster. I think it probably helps to have a little levity, to have the sort of goofy guy who can maybe break some of that tension like Gronk.
Can I make another case for Gronk too? Because I think one of the things we got to think about, and Perloff mentioned when we walked over here, is both these guys had a great luxury of playing with the GOATs, basically, right? Brady and Mahomes. But I think Kelce may have had an even greater advantage in the sense that he played with a all-time great quarterback who was able to improvise so much, where a lot of it is just, hey, I'm going to run, go over here and just flip the ball to you, or hey, I'm going to go do this, and you just run around and whatever.
Right.
With the Patriots, all their offense is so about precision.
Precision, yeah.
It's all about timing. It's all about you got to be in the right place at the right time. So there really isn't a lot of like, hey, Brady just broke 3-4 tackles and then just flipped it over and I was open. Like Gronk had to win his route and beat people every time. It was never going to be because Brady did something in the pocket that was outrageous or made some crazy throw.
No, it's a good point, but I would say the counter to that is how about Kelce keeping plays alive? You got to run around for 12 seconds while Mahomes scrambles.
But a defender will always tell you the hardest play to guard is when the quarterback breaks the pocket and now the receiver gets to freestyle, right? Like, and not say Kelce isn't great at it. He's maybe the best ever, obviously. But just the difficulty with the fact that Gronk really never played with a quarterback that even allowed him to do that. It required him to be run this route, get open, beat your man. Because he's 6'6", 260, like he could just barrel over people and just get wherever he wanted. He was an absolute monster.
Well, I agree with Maggie, though. I think Kelce's freelance ability is one of his greatest strengths. I mean, there's nobody. It's
Gronk
amazing.
knew where the ball was going to be.
Yeah, I mean, Kelce, it's insane how open Kelce gets. I don't know if that's Andy Reid or Kelce. That's a great question, but he's the best receiver on the field, and somehow there's not a defender within 10 yards of him. We've seen it all the time.
It's like,
I think he just sort of goes one direction, and he's so agile for a guy that size that he comes into a different space than the defender expects.
It's maddening how he still gets open after all these years. And they'll tell you it's kind of backyard football. I can never tell. I mean, I think they are improvising a lot, but they're now so familiar. Even the improvised stuff almost feels on purpose.
And did we mention Antonio Gates, too, at his peak? He was ridiculous.
Phenomenal.
Awesome.
Ridiculously good. I'm a huge fan of tight end. By the way, Kittle, it belongs in this historical conversation. When he's healthy, that guy is a fantastic tight end. He's an all-timer, too. It's a great position because it's not a wide receiver. It's not a lineman. They're just lovable people. We should go to that tight end one year.
Oh, yeah. No, they seem like they're having a good time. Although I think the offensive lineman camp is actually the most fun group.
Really? I don't think there's anything wrong with a Gronk, Travis
Kittle.
Kelce. I think the three greatest partiers in the last 20 years are Kelce, Gronk and Kittle. I don't know. The lineman,
true.
yeah. You're right. The lineman is probably a lot of fun, but there's a lot of calories at the buffet line at the lineman.
Listen, we had
All they
Drunkle
do is
Sam.
push each other around.
Well,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Let's not drum up that. I've got a reputation to uphold.
There are
Jeff-
opposite linemen literally here
Yeah, I
all
know.
the time, Manny.
I don't want to see Jeff Schwartz come over and like push me. No, he would never. But the thing is, Drunkle Sam asked earlier in the chat, youtube.com/Infinity Sportsnet, did anybody in the entourage get in trouble yet? And, we have not encountered Johnny Law, but have we gotten in trouble in terms of the doctor? The amount of cholesterol, calories. I mean, you got the sampler last night, Perloff. I mean, way to just run through the finish line like Usain Bolt. I mean,
but it's kind of funny. I
I was impressed.
the Crescent City sampler. So it had the following things on it: jambalaya, red beans and rice, gumbo, and
Etouffee.
Etouffee.
All 4 things. I realized after eating them all, they're all exactly the same thing. They honestly, there's just a ton of
jambalaya
rice.
is a little dry, not as soupy.
Yeah.
Jambalaya is a little different, but it's basically rice in a broth of butter and cream and awesomeness,
And seafood.
and some seafood. Yeah,
And
some
sausage.
sausage,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's they were all similar. I didn't even know which was which at a certain point.
When you went for the sampler, I was like, my hero. I
And
had
the
to get a
wait- and the waitress-
salad.
and the
I waved the white flag. I was like, no mas. I
And the
can't
waitress-
do it.
And the waitress was like, do you want all 4? He's like, yes.
By the way-
Definitely all 4.
It's the sampler,
Ma'am.
miss.
By the way, Maggie, we all order at the table, and everyone orders like, "Oh, I'm going to get the red snapper. I'm going to get the." Maggie like brings the waiter over and says, "I'm going to get the chicken salad,"
'Cause-
hoping none of us heard it.
Booze rained down from the
Yeah,
table.
yeah.
Listen, I knew I was going to get heckled for this.
Boo.
I needed a grilled chicken salad,
Ugh.
just vegetables.
What a loser.
I know, but Manny, to be fair to me, I've been putting down all the fried stuff for the last 3 days. I have been going toe for toe, have I not? The fried, and I did have the fried green tomato yesterday. That was delicious.
You did have a po' boy.
I had
yes.
a po' boy.
Yep.
I had
It was grilled.
I did get the grilled one. I got shamed for that.
Yeah, Manny.
Goodness.
No.
What did I have at the fancy restaurant that we went to? The
Oh,
really
you
nice
had the
one.
gumbo.
I had the gumbo. Thank you. I ate we're doing it. We're all, you
And
can't
obviously
avoid it.
You ate the crawfish, too.
I ate 50 crawfish in 20 minutes.
Still not impressed. You can get a salad anywhere here in New York.
I was eating tacos yesterday. Shady McCoy was sitting at the table next to us with Emmanuel Acho.
Bill's legend.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say something to him about this crazy snow game that once happened in Buffalo, but decided against it.
Yeah, any beignets yet?
Have you had any beignets yet?
No, I'm not eating a beignet.
See,
Why not?
Perloff doesn't eat
Boo.
sweets.
No,
I'm gonna
this
boo both
weekend
of
I'm
you
going to go
guys.
to town. I honestly, I'm a little disappointed. We have a lot of work to do after the show. There's this buffet
I know.
at the hotel.
Yeah.
I've been just
amazing.
going to town on that.
I've never
thing.
seen more cake on a breakfast buffet.
Oh, it
Way
is-
to go.
It's just a normal hotel in New Orleans buffet, and it is probably better than any buffet at any hotel I've ever been to.
Right. So if you're asking if anyone's gotten in trouble, not like legal,
Yeah.
but
Well, there
cardiac.
we are drawing a lot of attention from certain members of the law enforcement community. I don't want to bring it up.
What's that?
Manny,
Oh, God.
somebody here in New Orleans has a crush.
Is that right?
Yes, we are the. Let's just put it this way: we are the safest radio booth here in the media center because there are certain troopers who are hanging around all show long.
Yep, they come around. They always got something to say.
Yeah, not
Listen,
to me or
they just-
EJ.
Nope.
They
Not to
just
me or-
want my thoughts on the future of the Saints.
Oh,
I
it's
mean,
not on
what,
Gelb?
what am I going to do? Not tell them what I think about Kellen Moore?
I don't know. It's just I don't know if that's a typical law enforcement position to put both your elbows on the table and put your hands cupped under your chin and say, "Hi, Maggie. What do you think of the game?" Is that normal? Is that the stance that most
I thought
police
everyone
officers
did
take?
that. Yeah, that's normal to me.
Let me just say this. If something ever happened, just know that Maggie will be fine. Me and Perloff will probably be dead.
Maggie, come this way.
Yep.
No, not you guys.
Yeah, everyone who's not going to jail tonight, take a step forward. Perloff and EJ, not so fast.
Oh,
Yeah, I
boy.
made friends with the law enforcement community here. Appreciate them being so protective.
Don't worry, guys. I'll throw a snowball at a cop car later today to make sure at least somebody gets in trouble.
Wait, do you have snow, Manny?
It's not accumulating, but I figure once I leave the building, it might be snowballable.
Manny said ice is falling from the sky. in New York.
Ice is falling from the sky, and it wasn't a great morning commute, but I digress.
We wouldn't know about it. It's like 70 degrees here at all
Yeah,
times.
it's 70 degrees sunny. But we are having bad hair days because we are in a swamp at this moment.
I don't know how anyone gets through this.
Boo-hoo.
We'll take your thoughts and prayers. 855-212-4227. You want to watch our frizzy hair, you can do it. YouTube.com/Infinity Sportsnet. Twitch.tv/Infinity Sports Network. Say good morning to everyone listening on Sirius XM Channel 375, our Odyssey and Infinity Sports Network affiliates who we are obsessed with. You can listen to us on the app. It's crystal clear. It's easy to download, and it's absolutely FREE free. Also on X. Okay, lots more to do, including our star-studded lineup here on Radio Row. The head coach of your LA Chargers and a man who won a national championship with the University of Michigan, the one and only Jim Harbaugh, will join us next. Don't move, MMP.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining.
Well, Maggie and Perloff, they shine so bright like a star in the desert on a Texas night. Daily says it's shady, but I swear on my name, I just push the buttons, I don't play no games. Now Peter Bellotti, well, he don't show, and that man's supposed to be running this show. If there's a tech problem, don't look at me, ask the guy who's missing more than Tennessee. So, Debbie, my friend, don't spread that lie. I ain't no bandit, I just make streets fly. Ryan's cutting out, stepping those stools and with the pixelated shout. But Maggie and Perloff, smooth as can be. Now Bailey rode into town with suspicion in his eyes, saying Kaplan's got a secret and he's hiding it inside. Zach Jobs lost in darkness, Ryan's dream's a mess. Chevelle Walsh just a spinning wheel. Oh Lord, what a distress. But Maggie and Perloff, they shine so bright like a star in the desert on a Texas night. Daily says it's shady, but I swear on my name, I just push the buttons, I don't play no games. Now Peter Bellotti, well, he don't show, and that man's supposed to be running this show. If there's a tech problem, don't look at me, ask the guy who's missing more than Tennessee. So Davey, my friend, don't spread that lie. I ain't no bandit, I just make streets fly. But Maggie and Perloff, they shine so bright like a star in the desert on a Texas night. Daily says it's shady, but I swear on my name, I just push the buttons, I don't play no games. Now Peter Bellotti, well, he don't show. And that man's supposed to be running this show. If there's a tech problem, don't look at me. Ask the guy who's missing more than Tennessee. So, Danny, my friend, don't spread that lie. I ain't no bandit, I just make streets fly. Oh,
oh. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Back to the Maggie and Perloff Show. We're here in New Orleans, Radio Row, and we're so pleased to be joined by the head coach of Los Angeles Chargers, fresh off a national championship at Michigan, the one and only Jim Harbaugh, joining us on behalf of Invivid, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Coach, thanks so much for the time today.
Thanks, Maggie. Good to see you, Andrew.
So you were out of the NFL for almost a decade. You come back. How was your first season back in the pros?
Well, it was great on so many levels. We didn't get the ultimate success. I would love to be there with you guys right now and our team having a Wednesday practice before the big game. But there was the way it felt. It was like the best darn job I've ever had. A great ball team to be a part of. Justin Herbert, Derwin James, Khalil Mack. J.K. Dobbins, everything he added to our team, Rashawn Slater. It was an incredible year and attacking version 2.0. That's what we're doing today, seeing where we can get better. And as we head into free agency, trying to get our players back, to run it back for another year and also add competitors to our team. The draft's coming. Joe Ortiz, the entire staff, everybody working, building, trying to, get better. So exciting time. Stings, and it stings probably in a good way that we're, that we're not there. And total respect, to the Chiefs and the Eagles, who'll be playing in this great game.
Coach, did anything change from the time you left San Francisco to getting back for the NFL? Like, is it different league strategy wise?
No, I wouldn't say so much of that. I mean, I think hard. So as it's hard now to stay, but the principles, to be physical, to be durable, those are still the keys. Some of the things that have, really popped, I guess, resonated is 10 years ago, I didn't think the NFL could be any more popular than it was. And now here we are a decade later, and it's like 2x, 3x, 4x, more popular than it, it all culminates this weekend.
Jim Harbaugh, Coach Jim Harbaugh, joining us on behalf of Invivid. It's funny because we're on in Oregon, so we have a ton of Justin Herbert fans in our audience. And there's Justin Herbert fans across the country. 3 interceptions all season, 4 in the game against Houston. Not all his fault, obviously. It's a team game. But what happened in that game now that you've gotten a little bit of distance, and what was your message to Justin about this offseason and how to attack that?
Yeah, I mean, it's the fact that I really felt like we were as good as the best teams that were in the playoffs, and we weren't that day. We weren't the better team that day, and I take responsibility for that because we didn't put our team in a position to play the complementary football that we should have. I take that on as from a coaching perspective. Let them attack our run game, let them attack our protections, and hats off to the Texans. They did a phenomenal job. But got to coach better, got to be better, and that's the thing that resonates today. It's like I said before, it's things that we're not there, that we didn't win that game. You get that post losing mood, but it's also the thing that drives you when you fail that motivates you to come back even stronger.
Coach Jim Harbaugh with us of the LA Chargers. Derwin James, of course, amazing player, said about Justin Herbert, he can't wait until everyone sees the real 10. That's what he said on a podcast with Micah Parsons recently. The real 10. What is the real 10? Who's the real Justin Herbert? What do you think he meant by that?
Well, there's no question. I mean, all of us here, we understand that he's one of the best players in the history of the NFL, in my opinion, at the quarterback position, and so is Derwin James. I mean, Derwin James, to have those two leaders, and they are our leaders, offensively and defensively. They set the tone. They're the tone setters. Everybody in this organization feeds, off of those two individuals, and we just aspire to be like them. We aspire to, and I aspire to put Justin Herbert in a position to be successful. So protect him, in pass protection, but also keep chipping away. We improved our running game, but to get to be better, and then to have the tools around it so they can't load up on that. Play action pass, perimeter screens, traps, all the ways that protect your run game as well. So I think what he's saying is, like, we watch it, we see it every day. I think what Derwin's really saying, what he's really saying is, I mean, it feels like you're around greatness every day. It is like being around greatness every day. Watching Justin Herbert go about his business, and he can't wait till we put it all together and everybody sees that.
Coach, I got to ask you about your former team. Best of times, worst of times in college football. You beat Ohio State, but then you had to watch them win the title. Which, when you come away from the season, was it just good enough to beat them, or did it hurt you to see the Buckeyes win the title?
It's the competitiveness is the competition is the best part, and
okay,
the respect I have for that game, Michigan, Ohio State. It's been a lifelong joy, and that day's always been better than Christmas to me. Watching Ohio State, watching any team, if it's not Michigan, or if it's not the Ravens, I root for the Ravens. I root for Michigan, unless we're playing the Ravens. But any other game, any other football game that I watch, including this one, this Sunday, I just start watching it, and I don't let any kind of rivalry, whether it's Ohio State or whether it's Chiefs, I just don't let that get into my head. I don't let that occupy space. It's football. We got a team. We got a team to coach. We got a team to, we got a daily opportunity, weekly opportunity, monthly opportunity, yearly opportunity to improve and make better. So let's have at that.
Coach Jim Harbaugh on behalf of Invivid. Now, this is a non-vaccine preventative option for COVID-19. Tell us how you got involved and why this was speaking to you.
Yeah, it's kind of been a year of health for me. I got a hip replaced 13 days ago. Had an arrhythmia during the season, and just the opportunity to have options and take care of yourself. COVID's still here. There's no good viruses, and especially for immunocompromised individuals, those that have had cancer, those that have organ transplants. COVID and viruses can be deadly. So there are options. Expand their options.com. I'm not a doctor. I know you both know that very well, and I'm not trying to be one. I'm just I've worked with my doctors to make sure that I'm making the right decision for myself, and just to advocate and advise that people talk to their doctors about what's best for them. But as you said, there are options, and check it out. Go to expandtheiroptions.com.
Coach, last one for me, and it's about another Michigan man, and that'd be Tom Brady. In the division, which is tough, and the reports are he's running things over at the Raiders. They just hired Pete Carroll, who you had so many battles with back when you were the head coach of the 49ers and he was the head coach of the Seahawks. I mean, what are you a little concerned about Brady now going up against him after you guys have been linked with your alma maters? And what kind of team do you think he's going to put together?
Oh, it's going to be good. It's going to be a good one. Him, Pete Carroll. I mean, those Tom Brady, ultimate competitors. You look around the division, Andy Reid, Sean Payton, Pete Carroll, here we go. It'll be wild. It'll be fun. There'll be incredible battles, but the exciting part really is it just pulls it out of you. It pulls when you're playing against the tough, the strong, those that compete at the highest level. It pulls. If you're worth your salt, you'll rise to the challenge, and that's what I expect from our club.
Coach, we've had some late nights, and there's a couple more days of Super Bowl. Can you give us an inspirational word to get us through, Maggie and I? Because we've been eating a lot. You know how it is in New Orleans.
Keep attacking, Maggie, Andrew. With an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. Today is another day to attack a day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. Go have at it.
Coach, are there any sayings that we don't know yet as the public? Any Harbaugh-isms that you haven't unleashed on the world?
Right. Let's see. Today it's like, you can't fix everything all at once, but you can fix one thing at a time all the time. Kind of what I'm focused on, today. Getting our team, coaching our team better. Getting it in the best possible, doing anything and everything possible to help our team be successful.
Coach, thank you on behalf of Invivid. Again, you can go to expandtheiroptions.com if you'd like more details and more information. And glad to see that you're doing well after the hip replacement, hip surgery, and wishing you all the best. Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Make it a great day. Just make it a great day.
You can't fix everything at once, but you can fix one thing at a time all the time. I think I got that right.
Yeah.
A new Harbaugh-ism. I mean, this is a big day for our show.
Yeah.
We got the unleash to the world. Now, it doesn't really have the ring of who's got it better than us, nobody. It's not so, able to be printed on a T-shirt necessarily or a bumper sticker, but...
Can you say it one more time?
I think what he said is you can't fix everything at once, but you can fix one thing at a time all the time. I don't know. EJ, can you go back in the stream and see if I was doing that on the fly?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, right. So there you go. Another new Harbaugh-ism, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome.
That we will butcher over time will become. As Jim Harbaugh said, you can't fix everything all the time, but you can
fix a tire.
Fix all the things every time or something. Yeah.
60% of the time, it works all the time is what it's going to turn into. But... So we got a new Harbaugh-ism. I'm kind of curious with Jim, and we didn't have enough time with him, unfortunately, to get to this. And he wouldn't say it anyway because it'd be considered tampering. But, Myles Garrett and Cooper Kupp were the big names that are now going to be out there for trade. Would they look at a Garrett with an aging defensive line and Mack and Bosa? Would they look at Kupp, or were they more likely to go to the draft for something like that and draft another receiver? The Chargers need another receiver, and they need a running back.
Yeah, but, it's going to sound a little oversimplified, but they already have Ladd McConkey. Are they going to get Cooper Kupp?
Oh, right. Good point. Are they redundant because of their obvious physical characteristics?
Yeah,
is that what you're saying?
But I was going to say these are slot receivers, Maggie. And also, they have older pass rushers. That doesn't feel like a natural fit, but you're right. Cap-wise, that could work. They have some tough decisions ahead. They got to figure out how to deal with these older players.
Let's get to headlines with Andrew Bogusch, who's standing by. What's up, Bogusch?
Guys, these headlines sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Insurance for motorcycles, boats, and RVs for protection on the road and on the water. See how much you could save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com. We apparently came fairly close to a mega NBA trade. Jimmy Butler to the Suns, Kevin Durant back to the Warriors, but KD did not want a Golden State reunion. Here's the leaked audio of KD's chat with the Warriors front office.
Come on in, G. I'll help you.
No, I don't want to.
Here, come hold her tail and take a picture with me.
So Durant stays put for now, and Butler goes to Golden State instead, and he'll sign a 2-year extension worth $111 million. This swap involves Andrew Wiggins and Kyle Anderson going to Miami, with Utah and Detroit involved as well.
Wow. I didn't realize that one is going to follow me around now forever. That's audio of Perloff and EJ and I and our Uber driver, Robel, all at the Kleber and Sons Gator Tour, where we got to get into an alligator pen. Perloff actually held the 5.5-foot alligator by yourself.
Yeah, I'm so glad we got Richard's voice in the show. It's the best.
Yes, that was the voice of Richard. I would only hold the tail, and then I ran away shrieking like a child. But Richard was our 6-fingered tour guide.
Yeah.
And
Not on one hand, on both hands, just to be clear.
Yeah, five fingers on one hand, one thumb on the other, and he did not lose those fingers opening an envelope.
That one hand, go to the video just for that. It is almost undescribable, that one-fingered hand. It's going to live in my nightmares for a long time.
You know, Richard had a real positive attitude, and we actually had a conversation. If you were going to lose fingers, don't you want to keep the thumb? And that's where we're going to have to leave the conversation. Bogusch, thanks so much.
My pleasure.
Sorry about that one. I went a little long with Jim Harbaugh. Coming up next, we go back to the guest line, and All-Pro Demario Davis from the New Orleans Saints will join us. We'll do that next. It's M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Captain's got a plan, but let me. Yo, Davey in the chat saying Captain's got a plan, but let me set the record straight. Ain't no wires in my hand. Zach, yeah, black and Ryan's gone static. Steppenwolf's frozen, it's cinematic. But Maggie and Perloff, the stream be magic. Clear as the day, got a feeling ecstatic. Am I the villain, or just a goat? Infinity Sports, running in my notes. Daily you tripping, I'm pressing these buttons. Ain't my fault that Bilotti ain't rushing. Kaplan ain't crashing, Kaplan ain't stopping. My stream's so smooth, man, they never be dropping. Bilotti still ghosting, snakes ain't arrive. Dudes at home, while I keep it live. Sabotage, man, that's just a joke. I make it run clean, while your Wi-Fi's broke. Saying Kappa's got a plan, but let me set the record straight. Ain't no wires in my hand. Zach jump like it, Ryan's go static. Steppenwolf's frozen, it's cinematic. But Maggie and Perloff, the stream beam magic. Clear as the day, got a feeling ecstatic. Not the villain, or just a goat. Infinity Sports, running in my notes. Daily you tripping, I'm pressing these buttons. Ain't my fault that Bilotti ain't rushing. Kaplan ain't crashing, Kaplan ain't stopping. My stream's so smooth, man, they never be dropping. Bilotti still ghosting, snakes ain't arrive. Dudes at home, while I keep it live. Sabotage, man, that's just a joke. I make it run clean while your Wi-Fi's broke. Yo, Davey in the chat saying Captain's got a plan, but let me set the record straight. Ain't no wires in my hand. Zach, yeah, black and Ryan's gone static. Steppenwolf's frozen, it's cinematic. But Maggie and Perloff, the stream be magic. Clear as the day, got a feeling ecstatic. Am I the villain, or just a goat? Infinity Sports, running in my notes. Daily you tripping, I'm pressing these buttons. Ain't my fault that Bilotti ain't rushing. Kaplan ain't crashing, Kaplan ain't stopping. My stream's so smooth, man, they never be dropping. Bilotti still ghosting, snakes ain't arrive. Dudes at home, while I keep it live. Sabotage, man, that's just a joke. I make it run clean while your Wi-Fi's broke. Same couples never planned, but let me set the record straight. Ain't no wires in my hand. Stack jump like it, Ryan's go static. Shipping walls frozen, it's cinematic. But Maggie and Perloff, the stream beam magic. Clear as the day, got a feeling ecstatic. Not the villain, or just a go. Infinity Sports, running in my notes. Daily you tripping, I'm pressing these buttons. Ain't my fault that bloody ain't rushing. Heaven ain't crashing, Kevin ain't stopping. My stream's so smooth, man, they never be dropping. But bloody still ghosting, snakes ain't arrived. Dudes at home, wanna keep it live. Sabotage, man, that's just a joke. I make it run clean while your Wi-Fi's broke. Yo, Danny in the chat.
One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Maggie and Perloff Show. We're so pleased now to be joined by a man who's a two-time Pro Bowler and All-Pro, Demario Davis from the New Orleans Saints. We're right here in your town now, Demario. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me. So excited about this.
Okay, well, Perloff, why don't you tell Demario what we've been up to the last 2 days?
So yesterday we had a challenge. Who could eat 100 crawfish faster?
Oh.
Does that sound like a lot to you?
No. First of all, it's not a lot of crawfish.
Yeah, that's what I told Maggie.
You can go through 100 so fast. Now, the real question is, did you struggle peeling them?
Yes.
Yes. I couldn't get the hang of it. I was peeling like a shrimp, and that was a terrible idea.
Yeah, that's a terrible idea. Terrible idea. You know, so did he?
I was good. I got a rhythm.
Oh, you found a rhythm?
Take the first top of the shell off, and you push it at the bottom of the tail, and I hit a stride.
Yeah, once you figure out the stride, that's it.
Now, that was just one thing that
was
we
the
did.
easy thing
Okay,
we
tell them about Monday.
Monday we went to Kleber Gator Farm.
Okay.
And what was the town? I can't even pronounce it.
Ponchatoula?
An hour away.
Chapachula?
Chapachula, sure.
Yeah.
An hour away. It is a gator farm where we walked amongst gators, held gators, all sorts of other exotic animals.
Oh, yeah, y'all getting the full Louisiana experience.
Yeah, so our guide had 6 fingers, only a thumb on one hand. Have you ever held a gator?
And you still went out there. No, I have not held a gator.
Yeah, your contract would not allow you to do that.
Now, even if my contract allowed me, I'm not.
Wait, I thought that was a thing down here.
No, that's a Louisiana thing. But not everybody's trying to go wrestle alligators.
Yeah.
No, that's not true to New Orleans culture, but it is a Louisiana thing and for certain people, but no.
I got an idea, and Demario Davis is here on behalf of Intuit. We'll get to that in just a moment. You're doing some amazing things to inspire change, financial literacy, all that. You are about to have a new head coach with the Saints. We don't know who it's going to be yet. I could see this as a little, new coach hazing. Like, hey, coach, welcome to New Orleans. Let's show you the ropes. Then all of a sudden you're at the alligator farm. He's holding a 5.5-foot alligator. Then you see who the tough guy is.
You know what? That would be truly hazing, but that could go wrong very fast. So we're not gonna mess with that.
Any teammate that you have now or ever had who you think would successfully wrestle a large alligator?
Who would successfully wrestle an alligator?
Or any NFL player.
You know what? You know who I think would do a good job and would be up for the task? Brian Brzee.
Oh, new guy.
Yeah, he would. He'd be up for the task, and I think he'd be successful.
What'd you see from him this year? Because of course, people are looking forward to him. I'm sure the Saints. Oh
man, he turned it on. I think he finished with like 8 or 9 sacks. Interior defensive lineman and being able to get to the quarterback like that. Just amazing athlete. He has great intellect. He's kind of like the quarterback of the defensive line, only in his second year. Just a really bright future.
Yeah, I mean, your team, you struggled obviously this season, but the defense really, really played hard and was successful. How is it hard sometimes when the offense is struggling for the defense to stay inspired, even when the playoffs are out of touch?
No, I don't think. I think for some people it can be, but I think we're just motivated by chasing greatness, and I think that's what's most upsetting is that we have moved so far from it, and so it's like, how do we get back to that?
All-Pro linebacker Demario Davis joining us on behalf of Intuit and NFL Inspire Change. I want to get to that. I know it's really important to you. Now, you guys had the, on your schedule, both the Eagles and the Chiefs this year, so you're familiar with them. Played them earlier in the season, but still, tackling Saquon Barkley. The challenges of that are what, sir?
I mean, he's just one of the best running backs in the game. He's strong. He runs physical. He's fast. He's very quick. And he's a smart player. He knows, kind of where the open spots are going to be. He's not afraid to go for a big play, so he'll cut back at some angles that most running backs won't try. And he can do it all. He can run and block, catch out the backfield. Just phenomenal talent, and I'm excited to see how he's going to play here in the Super Bowl. It's going to be challenging for him, but I think he'll do well.
You guys kind of shut down the Eagles early in the season. I think it was a turning point for the Eagles. How'd you do it?
I think they've had our number for the past 2 years, and we had to have a pretty creative strategy for stopping them. You have to be able to account for what they can do with Saquon, but you also have to have a plan for Jalen Hurts and some of the other plays that they like to get to in their backfield.
A lot of people have mentioned this. We're talking about Demario Davis, by the way. The Houston Texans said so after the game. The Buffalo Bills said so after the game. You guys played the Chiefs earlier this year. You feel like you're playing the Chiefs and the referees. Did you feel that way, the idea that the Chiefs tend to get some kind of home cooking from the officials, whether it's conscious or unconscious?
Listen. I'm big on never blaming the referees. I don't think anybody's ever been cheated as much in history as we did in that playoff game a few years ago. But I think just the Chiefs are figuring out ways to win games at the end of the game. I think they do a good job in defense in the fourth quarter. Patrick Mahomes is one of the best finishers that the game has ever seen. I think when you get to a certain level, like you think about the Patriots when they were winning all those games, it was, Spygate, it was Deflategate. You get to a certain level of greatness, I think that's like the moniker. Like when you're hitting a certain level of greatness is when people just start making up stuff to hate on you. And I'm not saying that some of the games haven't been questionable, but the referees, I believe our referees are really trying. I mean, you imagine having to watch games closely and not miss a call and to be the turning point. I don't think referees are collectively trying to make bad calls to help a team win. They have a hard job to do. And I don't think people understand how hard that is because some of the plays are like bang, bang.
Oh.
Right? And they have to make a call that could impact the game. Man, as a defender, if this guy's going for a first down with the game on the line and I don't know if he's going to slide or, like, think about the great John Elway play where he made the diving for the first down. Like, I don't know what he's going to do at that moment as a defender. That's a hard thing to do. So that's the only reason I don't like that is because, I mean, in the middle of a game and the quarterback's about to get the first down, just let him get it and tag him down. Let him slide if he's going to slide. If not, just tackle him. I had to do that a couple times this season. And he got the first down. But if the game is on the line, I gotta go for it.
Right.
And I'm in a lose-lose situation because either I'm going to stop him, and risk getting a penalty, or he's going to slide and I'm going to get the penalty. He's going to get the first down. And so it's like, I don't like that.
Demario Davis is joining us, the All-Pro linebacker, on behalf of Intuit and the NFL Inspire Change, and you're doing a financial literacy forum. This, unfortunately, we hear all the time, athletes make a lot of money, end up going broke. You hate to see it. Now getting financial literacy out there, what are you trying to get across to these younger guys?
So we get a chance to partner with Intuit, and they're doing an amazing job just empowering young people with their Intuit for Education program and curriculum. It's helping a lot of young people because financial literacy isn't for just athletes. It's for everybody. So currently, only 33% of adults are financially literate. And Intuit has this initiative that they believe that, around a decade, everyone can, 100% of people can be financially literate. And their programming is amazing. They have these games that kids can play that makes it financial literacy, not just learning the concepts, but making it interactive for financial application. Learning how to do your taxes, learning how to save, learning how to budget, learning how to, use credit cards, learning all these different things that I wasn't taught in school. I've been able to do some programming with them yesterday. It was really fun. Got a chance to see 300 kids from local high schools right here being served. It was just awesome. It was an awesome experience watching those kids kind of navigate some of those programs. That's really geared towards them. It's digital, highly tech savvy, technology focused. So you're able to do it on your phone, play games on your computer, iPad. So it was pretty neat watching what they were doing.
I know an alligator farm that's looking for investment. If anybody, there's some fences that need mending. We walked in and there was a fence with a hole, which you don't want to see.
Not everyone has 10 fingers, though, Demario.
But y'all still went in.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand. And then, so you saw a hole in the fence, and it was like, you know what? We're gonna proceed. Then you saw the instructor with 6 fingers, and you're like, you know what? We're gonna do this.
You know what it was? There was a little dog that was walking around comfortably. I'm like, if that dog is not afraid of the gators, then because he's gator food.
Yeah.
I mean, and also I'm faster than Maggie, so I wasn't too worried.
I know. I said that to him. Like, you're faster than me, so there you go. We kept going, and we even entered the reptile shed, and one of our listeners said, have you ever seen a horror movie? You never go in the shed. And
Never.
we still went in the shed. And the boa constrictors and the pythons and all of that. Have you heard? So a lot of reports that Kellen Moore will be your next head coach. Anything could happen, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Have you reached out? Has he reached out to you? Any contact or communication?
No, that guy's focused on the Super Bowl. He's focused on one game, and that's outside of my office, so I don't know. So I find out when the world does.
Are you going to be watching this game a little bit more closely just because the offense coordinator for the Eagles may be your next head coach?
No, I'm going to watch the game about the same. It's going to be a good game. I'm excited to see these two quarterbacks go at it in these elite defenses.
You've tackled pretty much everybody on both
on these posters here. So,
yeah.
Demario, thank you so much for the time, and congrats on a great career that continues here in New Orleans.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a blessed one.
If you want to watch our trip to the alligator farm, EJ put together a fantastic video. It's quick, it's short, it's up on our socials right now at Maggie and Pearl on X, at Maggie and Perloff on Instagram, and you can see us getting up close and personal with the gators.
Yeah, now that you look back on it a little bit, do you wish that you had maybe held a gator a little longer or touched a snake or anything like that?
No. I wish I hadn't even held the tail.
Yeah.
I was very afraid.
I am looking back on it and wondering, why was I so scared of these things?
What do you mean, why were you so scared?
I don't know. It's one of those things, when you go into something that seems risky and it seems very dangerous, but after you do it, you get comfortable and realize, there was nothing scary about that.
Well,
that alligator was not going to turn on you.
You don't know that. Now, I trust the people at Kleber and Sons Gator Tour, but you can't trust a wild animal. It's not wild. It's like domesticated, I guess, but you never know when the alligator is just going to go alligator. And it wouldn't be their fault, which is why our tour guide who only had 6 fingers, Richard, I don't think he probably blames the alligator. For whatever happened.
What's the worst that could happen? I mean, you might lose a hand, like Happy Gilmore.
That's the worst. Well, actually, there's something worse than that. He could wrestle me underwater or something. I don't know.
That's the thing. I just didn't think that it was going to kill us.
Okay.
Yes, could we lose a limb? For sure. But I actually did not. I don't think we were facing death.
Well, here's the thing. A little of this is I don't trust you or EJ to save me if the gator pulls me under the water.
Underwater? There was no water there. What water are you talking about?
There was a little water.
I mean, it was like what? Like
it was like a puddle.
2 inches deep? If that.
Listen.
That was your fear that he was going to pull you down?
Yes. If something had happened and all of a sudden this alligator's attacking me, I think EJ, the camera never stops rolling because I think he's getting that footage. And
Fair.
You are not doing anything to help me. And I think that was part of it. And
why would I not help you?
Our tour guide only has 6 fingers.
Do you know that I actually kayaked in the open with alligators way bigger than that? Like they were 6 feet away from my kayak?
I know, but you must have had like a paddle. You had like a weapon at that point.
A kayak paddle?
I know it's not exactly a spear, but you had nothing. Like we were just standing there like a bunch of schmoes.
I thought you were going to look back on it and say, I wish I'd been more aggressive with the alligators.
I think we know what Perloff's calling his post-retirement.
What's that?
Kleber and Sons alligator
Move
tour.
Down, move down to Louisiana and start herding some gators, man.
I have plenty of fingers to spare. I got all 10 now.
Now.
Yeah.
Now.
I mean, honestly, you can function with just a thumb, by the way. He could do everything.
He could do everything with just that thumb on the right side. But, you want to pick up that blue-tongued lizard or that other little Komodo dragon-looking thing or the albino pythons or whatever?
Yes. They carry salmonella, apparently, and that's a concern.
That's the only concern. They also squeeze your brains out of your head.
Oh, my. We're talking a thing that was like a newt. It was 4 inches long. That thing was not squeezing anyone's brain.
No, the albino pythons, bro.
Those pythons. We don't even know if those were alive, Maggie.
I want to find out. Were they alive? They were alive.
Definitely
they were
alive.
definitely
they were
alive.
moving.
They were moving. Slowly, but moving. That's a bad way to go. Yikes. We did see a hole in the fence. We were like, well, let's go in anyway.
Yeah.
There could be alligators on the loose. Maggie and Perloff show. Coming up, we're asking the question, can the Eagles win a close game against the Chiefs?
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Nick Sirianni versus Andy Reid, just one of the matchups that's going to define this Super Bowl. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. So glad to have you. Thursday of Super Bowl week means we are really starting to feel the excitement for Perloff and his Eagles. Well, for Perloff, really, the jitters. You're not at the coaching advantage in the Super Bowl. Now, Vic Fangio, as the defensive coordinator, is brilliant, but he's 0-8 against the Chiefs. Now, granted, he's never faced them with a defense this good and this talented. But my question to you, Perloff, is how does the coaching staff wrestle back the advantage from Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo?
Why do you say the Eagles are at a coaching disadvantage?
Because I got eyes.
Well, your eyes are not telling you the right thing then. What is Nick Sirianni?
What am I missing about Sirianni that you're seeing?
Sirianni has a better winning percentage than Andy Reid. Sirianni is having the hottest start of almost any coach in the history of the NFL. I've decided I don't care about the press conferences. I don't care about yelling at fans. I don't care about his goofy look on the sideline. I think he is doing a lot of things right that we all are missing on. I think he might be a very good coach.
But, okay. And listen, I'm not saying that you have to call plays or be like call offensive plays or be the defensive play caller to be an effective head coach. I think just being a head coach and being a delegator and kind of overseeing everything, game strategy, all that is totally fine. But it also feels like Sirianni is minimized at times. And, you know, at least that's the way that Howie Roseman kind of made it out to be when they fired both coordinators last year and hired new people. And then he's supposed to be the vibes guy. And, you know, it's been up and down. You'll admit that. It's not been all roses. I
will not admit that, because how is he winning 75% of his games if it's up and what's down? When's the down?
Okay, but how much
last year, that was a combination. That was a roster thing, too. That wasn't just him. They had to bring in Kevin Byard at the end. Like, they ran out of talent on defense.
Okay, so last year's collapse aside,
yeah.
I also think that, you know, him having a really rocky relationship with his quarterback in a way that didn't seem like Belichick and Brady through most of the dynasty, which was guys that kind of got on each other's nerves but ultimately pushed each other. There were reports they couldn't be in the same room together without Kellen Moore there to kind of be a buffer. Like that to me is, you can't ever let it get to that point. And so, listen, who cares? They're here in the Super Bowl, and maybe that's all that matters. But it always feels like it's a bit on shaky ground with Sirianni as opposed to Andy Reid, who's so entrenched in KC.
I think that reporting is all deceiving. I don't think that's a real story with Nick Sirianni. Maybe I'm wrong. I think Nick Sirianni is a way better head coach / leader than people realize, based on a bunch of things, based on all the results. And now you hear the Eagles in all their press conferences this week. They're shouting out Sirianni-isms all the time. It takes to be great, you have to have everyone around you be great. All this teamwork stuff. Like, they're sounding like, I hate to say it, they're sounding almost Belichickian. They're all in the hive mind of Nick Sirianni now, who is, you know, you call it a vibe guy. He's sort of a teamwork guy. He preaches help the guy to your right, help the guy to your left, shows these videos of players celebrating on the sideline with each other. Like, he does all these, like, sort of cheesy motivational tricks. Right. But I got to tell you, I feel like the Eagles are in. I feel like that's a unified team. I know the reports about Jalen Hurts, and I know A.J. Brown has been hot and cold, but I generally think, like, we're in the Eagles hotel. I don't get any sense that is not one team that is all on the same page, and that it goes to head coaching.
Okay, so one thing about the motivational clips and all that stuff, every team does that. And the way that we know every team does that is if anyone was watching the in-season Hard Knocks that followed the entire AFC North, what did you notice? They all do the same thing.
Yeah, they're all Hall of Fame coaches in the AFC North.
No, but I'm just saying everyone has a similar playbook like that in terms of motivational quotes, and they're hanging up in the facility and coming in and having, the guys who say, I don't know if like where our standings are or what we need to do to make the playoffs. It's all BS. We found out in that Hard Knocks. Like they're going through all the scenarios. They know exactly where they stand at all times. But they were all very uniform. So I really can't give Nick Sirianni credit, is what I'm saying, for doing something that I think is pretty standard in coaching, which is showing motivational clips and trying to, get them to celebrate with each other and make sure that the positivity is flowing.
Okay, I did not know that. I didn't know. I thought, because the thing with Sirianni, after every game he shows a clip of like the players like win or lose, shaking hands and hugging and stuff. Like that's the post game video.
You really think that's the reason? I mean, that's not giving enough credit to the talent on this team. Because the guys are your video of shaking hands seems a little flimsy.
Well, I mean, your reason for not liking him is because he's awkward in a press conference and he yells at fans. That's just as flimsy.
No, I never even brought up the press conference. It's not about that. It's about what was the relationship with Hurts, and the fact
that's just a report. I mean, this is Philadelphia. Everything's there's always been reports of quarterback coach friction. That's the most overcovered team locally in the NFL. I'm telling you, like, I honestly, and there's always probably, you don't think Tom Brady and Bill Belichick had friction all the time?
They definitely did.
Yeah, so I don't mean, and that doesn't mean Belichick wasn't a great coach.
But it wasn't at Super Bowl appearance number 2. I think Belichick and Brady had friction once Brady wanted to do things his own way.
Well, Hurts and Sirianni are reportedly on the same page now.
So good for them. Okay, so they're on it now, so maybe it's passed. I guess here's my thing with Sirianni. I don't think that he's a better coach than Andy Reid. And I feel like at any moment the sands could shift under his feet and everyone's going to be singing a different tune. And, maybe he wins the Super Bowl and then we forget about it. But Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl in Philadelphia and he was gone, 4 seasons later? So it doesn't, just because you win the Super Bowl even doesn't mean that they love you in Philly, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, Philly's a fickle town. But if Sirianni wins the Super Bowl, like, I take out everything you know about him, just look at his resume. Like, he's well on his way to a Hall of Fame career. Like, he's actually going to – there are a lot of one Super Bowl winning quarter, like John Harbaugh, Sean Payton, Mike Tomlin, Mike McCarthy, but they haven't won at the clip that Nick Sirianni has won coming into the league. I think a lot of people give that credit to Howie Roseman.
Yeah.
But he's, like, got all-time numbers, way better than even Sean Payton, who had instant success, way better than Jim Harbaugh, who had instant success. So that's undeniable. It can't all be coincidence. I'm starting to think that. Now, if they lose, I take it all back. But
if they lose, get them out.
They win at 43 if he has 2 Super Bowl appearances and 1 Super Bowl win over a dynasty team like Kansas City Chiefs. I'm telling you, he's well on his way to a Hall of Fame career.
Interesting. So we're talking about the coaching matchup in the Super Bowl, Nick Sirianni, Andy Reid. So you think that Nick Sirianni beating Andy Reid would have the impact that the New York Giants beating Tom Brady in their undefeated season had for Eli Manning?
No, I don't think
who literally walked just by us right now, because the fact that win was so historic that the Giants were able to, put a pause on an all-time undefeated season. You think that Nick Sirianni could get the same glow for stopping a three-peat?
No, you're putting words in my mouth.
Sorry.
That's part of it. But no, I think if Syria, that is part of it. It's just like a little extra point. The point is he'll be 4 seasons in with a 7.702. There's only 6 coaches in history with a better winning percentage, and nobody who's going to have that early playoff success. Like, he's unprecedented. He'll be the winningest coach at his age really ever. So, and I just think those numbers are going to overwhelm every other narrative. It'll change, especially if he wins this game. I don't think it'll be like Tom Coughlin, who did nothing. Tom Coughlin was average all those other years. Like, he was good in Jacksonville, so he had that. And I think Tom Coughlin, is Tom Coughlin in the Hall of Fame?
No, he's not.
He will be, though.
He will be. I think 2 Super Bowls, but it's hard for coaches because look at Mike Shanahan's not in.
He will be.
Mike Holmgren's not in. George Seifert's.
Holmgren is not in?
Did Holmgren in? EJ, can you? No, I don't think he's in. I think we know that. There's other guys. Seifert's not in. Dan Reeves not in. Marty Schottenheimer not in. It's the coaching standard is ridiculous.
Right. Well, Dan Reeves
he didn't win, but he
got
to multiple Super Bowls.
No, that's a very good point. You're right, but I just think that there's a chance. If Sirianni wins, like, all those narratives change. Like, he becomes the man. I think he actually becomes – I think Sean McVay changed the coaching world by being this young offensive genius.
Yeah.
Everything changes, and motivational leaders will become the new thing. Everyone's going to be looking for the next Nick Sirianni. Possible.
I don't see that, but it is copycat league. I guess my thing is, if the Eagles win the Super Bowl, I just think the credit is going to go to a lot of people before it goes to Sirianni.
Well, one thing, too, you said that the Eagles are at a coaching disadvantage.
I
don't think Andy Reid outcoached Nick Sirianni in the last Super Bowl. I think it was dead even. I did not come away from that game saying that Reid outdid Sirianni. I thought Mahomes was the hero of that game. So why would the Chiefs outcoach them here?
I mean, I think it's the same boogeyman aspect of the Chiefs will always do the right thing at the right time. And maybe it's not Andy Reid, but look what Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator, did to the Bills on that last play, the fourth down play. And they send a blitz that nobody's seen, wasn't on tape. Bills had no idea it was coming. Think about it, how many times the Bills and Chiefs have played in the regular season and the postseason, and they still had something cooked up that Buffalo had never seen.
I mean, Hall of Fame. You had a great line yesterday saying Spagnuolo should be in the Hall of Fame just as a defensive coordinator.
Absolutely.
I thought about that. I was like, you were absolutely
Think
right.
about it. He took down Tom Brady when he was the defensive coordinator for the New York Giants, and now what he's done with the Kansas City Chiefs. And they've turned into, I don't say a defense-first team, but a defense-forward team. Let's put it that way.
I will tell you one thing. They did not outcoach the Eagles in that Super Bowl. The Eagles, I think, were a slightly inferior team, and they were well prepared for that game.
855-212-4227. Who's got the coaching edge in this game? I don't even want to put that poll up. I feel it would be a landslide.
Well, yeah, but
because Andy Reid has so much respect.
Yeah,
you know?
I know what the public perception is, but I think the public perception could easily be wrong here. Also, I think Nick Sirianni might be a better X's and O's coach than we all know. Like, there's a chance, like, he just looks like a goofball. And he looks belligerent. He looks like
he acts a little belligerent.
Yeah, right. No, that's what I mean. Like but I think that's all a
ruse, a work?
No, I don't. For some reason, I don't think that affects his quality of coaching. I think that the Eagles are a very well-coached team. I mean, they came out against the Commanders. It seemed like they knew exactly what to do.
Yeah.
The coordinators, Kellen Moore wasn't like reinventing the game in Dallas. He was good, but I think Sirianni might be better than we think.
Our very own Andrew Kaplan weighing in our YouTube chat, youtube.com/Infinity Sportsnet, twitch.tv/Infinity Sports Network. No coordinators are ever getting in, according to Cap. I think they should, though. I think there should be an area where coordinators get their due.
LeBeau, who also was a head coach, did get in, right?
Well,
but
Spags was technically a head coach also with the Rams. It just didn't go well.
Dick LeBeau got in, though, as a player, I believe. But he would have been a guy like Spagnuolo. He was ridiculous as a defense coordinator. Offensive coordinators all get head coaching jobs, so you can't. That's not going to happen. Well, who's a guy? Who's a guy who was an offensive coordinator who didn't become a head coach?
I mean, it seems like they all get a shot.
Nate Hackett's dad.
Oh God. Oh, Paul Hackett, right? Was his name?
No, I think he got a head coach. Yeah.
No, he did. He was definitely a coach. 855-212-4227. Got a couple more polls up there for you at Maggie and Pearl on X. Who is the greatest tight end of all time? Rob Gronkowski or Travis Kelce? Do you want to take a guess of where this poll is?
Gronk, 65%.
Even more. Gronk, 72% to Kelce's 28%. And maybe it's because Gronk was more the pure combination of great pass catcher and great blocker.
Maybe it's because everybody hates everything Chiefs right now.
You think this is Kelce bias?
Oh, my God.
Anti-Kelce.
This is Chiefs fatigue.
Another poll question for you. Can the Eagles win a close game against the Chiefs in this year's Super Bowl? Which kind of comes down to the coaching a bit. 59% are with me saying yes, the Eagles can win a close game against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And thank you, Mayor.
I hope you're right.
But you don't think they can?
No. I think if the game is close and it's the fourth quarter, the Chiefs are three-peating. I'm pretty convinced of this fact.
855-212-4227. We're here in New Orleans. Just because we're here doesn't mean the show changes. All the same. And that means we can hear from you. So weigh in on who has the coaching advantage, Andy Reid or Nick Sirianni. You're defending Sirianni here. You're on an island, I think. And who's the greater tight end? Travis Kelce, Rob Gronkowski. Final question, can the Eagles win a close game? Got a lot percolating there.
Yeah. I know I have an idea who our next guest is going to be pulling for in that poll.
Coming up next. Yes, the one and only entrepreneur, does it all. Gary V will be on the set next. Don't move. Maggie and Pro.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Maggie and Perloff show from New Orleans, and we've made this like a yearly date, and that's when Gary Vaynerchuk, the great Gary V, the entrepreneur, the social media whiz, the venture capitalist, the sports agent, the ad agency guru, Gary V joins us at the Super Bowl every year. Gary, we love when we get to pick your brain. How you doing?
I'm really well.
I didn't know you had 2 Super Bowl ads this year that are going to be running.
Yes.
Tell us a little about it.
We have Tubi, the streaming service that is part of the Fox family. We have a commercial for them, and then we have a very, very exciting Duracell, the battery ad for our ad agency, so we're excited. I also want to mention, Mag, this is more to rub it into you, that the Super Bowl III Jets banner is sitting right next to us, and I'm very excited about seeing that close.
Wow. So, Gary,
Yes.
you know, not to put your business out there, but, you know, Gary, you're, I don't know if you're a billionaire, you're close to it. You've always had the stated goal that you will own the Jets one day.
Yes.
Might want to get into the Q-tip industry or something like that to take out the Johnsons. But you've always said you want to own the Jets,
Yes.
and you, this is like you're manifesting it, and I'm sure Jets fans would love it if Woody would step aside and you would step in. Let's get into that because Aaron Rodgers. Here's the thing, Gary. Everyone's split whether Aaron Rodgers should come back or not come back. But here's the question no one can answer. If you don't bring him back, who's playing quarterback for this team?
Well, listen, you know this. Tyrod Taylor is a nice, solid vet.
Oh, boy.
Look, it's really hard because obviously the other Aaron, Glenn, who was a great Jet. I watched all of his plays. You know, you really think about how does he want to start his tenure, right? And I'm very empathetic to the concept of him thinking, let me go fresh and start fresh. I've got, you know, he's going to have a grace period of a year or two. Let me build my culture. You know, Aaron Rodgers is such a halo over anything he's a part of. Kind of hard to build your own culture. So I could see that. On the flip side, to your point, he also might be sitting there and being like, okay, like what is my optionality? Don't forget, with Aaron Rodgers also comes Devontae Adams.
Right.
You know, it's not just Aaron. So, you know, you it's and then what about the cutting and the dead money and like it, you know, again, when you get to the you know, if you're going surface levels on Twitter, just yapping here, but when you get into the dead money of Adams and Rodgers, to your point, what then is the option? And then there's like how far along is Jordan Travis? That, you know, they took that kid out of Florida State, you know, is he good? Do they think he's good? The last regime drafted him. Is he healthy? Because he had a setback. And then what do you think about the kids in the draft, right? Do you become infatuated with Jackson Dart? You know, he's now going to be a first rounder people weren't thinking about because of just the skill set. This is what's so fun about business and sports. When I run my businesses, these are definitely the things I'm thinking about. And many decisions have been, you know, essential in my growth, and there's been incredible amounts of missteps that I've misplayed it. I don't know as big of a misstep as trading a 25-year-old Luka. I don't know if I've ever done that, but you know, I think. What do I think? I think I'm agnostic, Mag. To be honest, I'll be calm and comfortable with either outcome.
I don't believe that.
No, I'm serious.
I don't think you're capable of it, Gary.
No, I am. I'm telling you the truth. Before the game starts, in the off season, I can be it's when the game is played where I become irrational, but really understanding the business of sports, owning a large sports agency, wanting to buy a sports team since I was in 4th grade. I've thought all about these things for all my life. I think either could work and either could not work.
This is less scientific, but Brett Favre had a disappointing year and the Jets got hurt.
Yes.
And then
he didn't have that disappointing of a year.
Well, the second half, disappointing because of how he was playing. No, he still.
Don't forget they beat the 10-0 Titans in Nashville, 30-7.
Right.
They beat the crap out of them, and that was like. By the way, that was the only time in the regular season in my life that I said to myself, "Huh, this team could go to the Super Bowl." They were 10-0.
Right, and then he hurt his
got
elbow.
hurt.
Yep.
And that was it. But nonetheless, you're right.
But then he had a great year the next year in Minnesota, and Darrell Bevell was his offensive coordinator. Ironically, Darrell Bevell just got the job in Las Vegas, and it does seem like Rodgers is following Favre. If Rodgers went somewhere else and had a great year, would that eat you up as a Jets fan?
Not really. Honestly, I'm not overly envy. Like, I'm kind of like, it's all about the Jets. and I'm not overly worried, especially because it's not like Rodgers did quote unquote anything wrong. Obviously, he got hurt to Maggie's Bills on that play 2 seconds in. Last year, if you really look, again, I get to watch every play. I really care. I really watch. He got dinged up, but the last 6 or 7 games, he played extremely well.
Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V here with us on set. We've made this a yearly Super Bowl tradition, which we love. And I want to pick your brain about some tech things that are coming up and all of that. But last thing on Rodgers, because Gary, you're a venture capitalist, as I said. I don't know if you're a billionaire, you're close to it. You're traveling in different circles than, say, Perloff and myself. The Aaron Rodgers gets a little into this like pseudo-psycho, like the ayahuasca trips to Costa Rica, and it seems like he's with Joe Rogan and like all of these sort of elite people. I imagine you run into these people quite a bit. Like you would socialize with Aaron Rodgers. Do people take him seriously? Do people think he's kind of a joke? Like what's his standing?
People take him very. Do you know how smart Aaron is?
Well, he'll tell you.
No. People that don't even like him will tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he's taken serious. Like, by the way, the stuff that he's up to, I don't know if you know this, Mag. I think you probably do. Many people believe in different forms of medicine emerging. Like, there's so much going on with meditation and ice baths and clean eating. And there's just a lot grounding, walking on grass with your feet. I think a lot of what, Eastern medicine and historical medicine points of view are starting to seep into the system. Obviously, now that RFK's in place, there's going to be a lot of law changes in the U.S., and I think a lot of things are going to be exposed. I don't know if you saw the headline about the red dye. That was like
we want that out.
Yeah, Mag, the red dye that was just banned in food was banned in hair products 30 years ago for causing cancer, but literally sat in our food for the last 30 years. So, look, my prediction on that, every human has strengths, weaknesses, but some of the alternative things that Aaron is up to, I believe in 25 years, we'll see more normalized.
Yeah, because they're extreme now. A darkness retreat, the ayahuasca, like that's intense stuff. That's not just clean eating.
No, it's not. And I think it is extreme, but I will tell you this. Everybody thought working out every day was weird in 1975. I'm serious.
Yeah.
In 1975 in this country, people did not work out. And Jack LaLanne and Gold's Gym people, they were like, oh, that's crazy. And now it's a normal thing. I'm not sure if everyone's going to be doing ayahuasca in 25 years, but to answer your question directly, he's an incredibly bright dude, and he is respected by both people that love his stuff and by people who don't.
Can I ask you a question about these two Super Bowls?
Yes.
We're under a Jalen Super Bowl teams. We're under a Jalen Hurts poster.
Yes.
Personality-wise, and I know you know a lot of people with the Eagles, I have trouble figuring out Jalen Hurts. I know last year, at the end of last year, they said they wanted to be a more vocal leader.
Yeah.
It feels like this is the Saquon Barkley team. We're almost not even talking about the quarterback. What do you think of him as a leader of the Eagles?
It's funny. And you can look this up on YouTube, Coach Saban had me speak to the Bama team years ago when Quinnen Williams was there. Tua had just taken over. Jalen was still there.
Yeah, he stayed.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And then he went to Oklahoma.
I will never forget this. I'm talking to the whole team, and when I publicly speak, I bring in a lot of the way I speak, I'll do 3 or 4 things in a speech to get a sense of the audience.
Got it.
And I remember calling my brother right after the talk. I was driving to the airport and flying, and I said, bro, you know who's locked in? Jalen Hurts. So that's my up close. But the first thing, as soon as you went there, the first thing I went to is I knew that there was a chip forming and a focus forming in that kid. I thought it was a great draft pick at the time. It's obviously turned out to be great. Let's also not forget, and we said this about Luka, he's young. Jalen is a young man, and you've got to earn your stripes in these NFL locker rooms, no matter how good you are. And people can speak to, point to Jaden Daniels being an alpha this year but every team has its own circumstances. And you think about what Jalen walked into, the Brandon Graham, the Kelce, Lane John. I mean, you're talking about vets, grown ass men, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
CJ Gardner Johnson. I mean, these are not shy violets.
And these are grown men.
Yeah.
These are men in their mid-30s.
Yeah.
So I think that we live in a cycle now where we don't give people... Terry Bradshaw was still sitting on the bench at this age. Terry Bradshaw sat on the bench for multiple years before he started. We're not giving these kids enough grace. So I think asking him to be, and he's also a calm leader. You know, asking someone to be a different personality, that's a really tough ask for someone to be someone they're not. So whether he ends up being a vocal leader or not, let's use Josh Allen.
Yeah.
You know, because I've watched him up close and personal. Jets passed on him. I was always worried, would he be good? He ended up being way better than I even could have nightmared.
Yeah.
He's much more comfortable being a leader today
Totally.
than we saw him 3 years. He feels completely different.
Yeah.
He's also growing up as a human being. He's engaged. He's you grow up. These guys are children. So I think, you know, my personal point of view is, I don't know, he's been to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. A lot of quarterbacks mess it up. My New York Jets, and I love this man. I hate to say this out loud. I love Mark Sanchez as a human. But when you know, the Jets had the number one running defense, had the number one defense, had the number one running game in the league, had the best offensive line in my lifetime and one of the best I've ever seen. And Mark, not that he cost him, because he actually played up in the playoffs in his run, right? It's just like, I just feel like Jalen hasn't blown it. He also squats so much weight that he's
push.
Yeah, this is a real thing.
Yeah.
By the way,
It's the secret weapon.
By the way, and Josh is a
can't do
monster.
it.
It's not the same thing.
Nope.
So
He
I
always
don't know.
stands
Like I mean, when I see Eagle fans struggle with Jalen, I always laugh about like short memories. Like you know, like that's a little bit of like overprivileged of a lot of success for the Eagles franchise. I grew up when the faint memory of the '80s Super Bowl was like, everything that Eagle fans complained about. There's just been a lot of prosperity in Eagle land for a long time now.
Gary Vee is joining us for just a couple more minutes. Of course, the entrepreneur, venture capitalist, sports agent, mogul, media mogul. You got 2 commercials in the Super Bowl this year. Your agency, just you make your own success, Gary. You really do. And no doubt, every time we have you on at Super Bowl, we will get comments that people say, I read Gary Vee's book and it changed my life. Or I listened to him talk and it changed my life. And you've done that for people. You also have this kind of innate ability, I always say, to see the future. You're an early investor in basically every company that we use currently in our society. AI in the future. I think people get a little nervous about where this is going. We're talking to people all across the country.
Yep.
Just regular people like me and Perloff. AI is
By
a
the
part
way,
of our life.
Just so you know, AI is scaring people that are billionaires on the coast too. This is big technology.
How do you handle? What do you say to people who are afraid of it? It's going to take their job, or it's going to change our lifestyle.
When the tractor trailer was invented, people were scared, and it took people's jobs. We literally worked on farms as a society before the invention of these machines. We then got different jobs. AI is big, but I look at history like I did with the tractor trailer. Let me give you another one, Mag. This may blow you away if you've never heard this. Do you know that when electricity was invented, that most people did not bring it into their home when it was ready for their home because the word on the street was that there was demons in the electricity.
Wait, there's not?
There's not. But this is real. Like it's
know.
kind of but it's really like honestly, I want to take a pause.
Sure.
Like most humans refused to put electricity in their home and stuck with candles because they were scared of this new technology because it had demons in it. Humans, by nature, will default into fear, unfortunately.
Yep.
And politicians empower that, and head coaches empower that, and teachers and parents. We weaponize fear. If you're listening right now in a suburb of Detroit or you're a tech mogul in San Francisco, you can't be afraid of an inevitable outcome. AI is not going backwards. There will be robots. It's just going to happen. But we used to ride on horses, and then came cars. This is what it is. And so I would tell everybody, don't be scared of it. Use it. Instead of putting your head in the sand and letting the AI, wave crush you, grab the AI surfboard and ride the wave. This can actually change a lot of people's lives in a positive. If you spent 10 hours on Google and ChatGPT to learn how to use AI, you might use it to do your groceries. And that saves you 20 minutes of time or an hour of time to be with your kids. This is not just about building empires. This will change your day-to-day life, right? And so the phone, you don't have to go to the yellow pages anymore for 10 minutes and call the pizza shop and wait. You now get to order a pizza in a second instead of 7 minutes like it took us when we were teenagers, right? And that 7 minutes is 7 minutes you can do what you want to do. AI is going to save people enormous amounts of time. If you're doing something that can be affected by AI, like you're a designer and you don't think of ideas, well then yes, AI will take your job. But if you're a designer who comes up with ideas, the ideas still matter. So you just have to be accountable, and you can't just blanket fear it.
But then there's downsides. Maybe there's an advantage for waiting 20 minutes for that pizza. I have a 14-year-old and a 13-year-old, and it's a real challenge to keep their phones out of their hands. What do you say to that?
I say you should be a parent and take it out of their phone.
Yeah.
I really believe in accountability.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Listen, I have a 15 and 12-year-old.
Yeah.
But if you want to if you are worried about it,
right.
if you actually are worried about it, instead of surface level like every
Yeah,
parent.
I'm not obsessed with it. Yeah.
You shouldn't be, because this is nothing compared to the world they're actually going to leave it. Everybody, if you have a kid that you're worried about their phone, wait till they're actually half robot when they're 35. Like, I laugh when people are like, this is terrible. I'm like, do you remember beepers?
yeah.
Like, that was the most advanced technology, and parents were worried about that. This is child's play to 30 years from now.
Yeah. Beeping 911 is like, you got to get to a payphone and call me
Everyone's like,
immediately.
my kid's in their phone the whole time. I'm like, your kid is going to, when they're 50, is going to live in a pod, in a computer pod.
Yeah.
Ready Player One. I'm like, what are you talking about? Technology just goes forward.
Wait, who's going to be half robot, the kid or the phone?
You.
So I'm
Do
going
I
to have
get
a
to be
robot.
half
Yeah.
robot?
Yes,
Yeah.
Mag.
I can't wait. Maybe I won't make my hair so frizzy in this humidity. Last one for you, Gary. Gary V is here with us. Is so gracious that we always get to do this as Super Bowl.
I love hanging with you guys.
No, it's awesome. We love talking sports with you, and you're so intertwined with this world and all worlds. Last one for you. We do not do politics on the show, but I do want to ask you one question.
Please.
Can you run a country like you run a business? Can you run
That's
this
a good
country
question.
like you run a business?
Well, we're about to find out.
Well, that's why I'm asking you, Gary, because you can see the future. And
Look,
we
I
can't.
Mag. I also don't tend, as you probably know, tend to talk about politics. But let me throw something at you to bring value for listeners. Monarchies are having a good run in the world. Like if we're going to go very in the clouds of very bougie circles, there is a lot of people that look at what's happened in Singapore the last 30, 40 years. That's happened at the United Arab Emirates, the UAE in the last 30, 40 years. These two places have prospered dramatically. They are run fully like a business. They are monarchies. They are fully run like it. The problem with monarchies in the history of time is if when you have a good king or queen running the show, and they're great, well, like a good business, it's a great business. The problem is when they die and their rich kid who never worked and wasn't as sharp and is entitled and is bougie comes in and they blow it. So history has shown it's happening currently. The prosperity that Singapore and the UAE have gone through in the last 40 years is a more extreme version of running a country like a business than we're about to live through in America these next 4 years.
Wow.
The problem is what happens next. So it's going to come down to the president's, if he's good or bad in making those decisions. Can you run it like a business? In some ways, one could argue they always do that. But these are very complicated times, no question.
So a little concerned that when Brick and Jack,
I was gonna say.
Brick and Jack Johnson, Woody's sons take over. And honestly, it can't be any worse than Woody.
Well, listen, you know what's crazy about Woody? Like, even though I have such great dreams of buying the team from him eventually one day, he had a lot of prosperity as a Jets. I mean, compared to Leon Woody,
Hess.
The New York Jets of the 2000 to 2011 made the playoffs more times in that decade than they have in the history of the franchise combined.
But we were using beepers back then. Gary.
I'm very aware.
Gary, if
time moves on, Gary. We're half robot now. That was forever ago.
If Goodell called you and said, "I'll give you a team, but you have to take an overseas team, and you can put it in any city you want," because he wants an overseas
fun question.
team.
Where would I put that team? I would put that team probably currently in Berlin, and here's why. It's just very obvious that Germany is taking to our sport much more than the UK. I don't like France. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I would probably go with Berlin. Okay. The German interest in the sport has been overwhelming and makes me optimistic about the future of American football around the world.
Gary Vaynerchuk, New York Times bestselling author, motivational speaker, entrepreneur, venture capitalist, media mogul, sports agent. You do it all, Gary, and we wish you all the best of luck in owning the Jets one day.
Thank you. And Mag, I'm very upset that you beat me twice this year.
It was coming, Gary. It was just
the first game we should have had. How do you get a holding call on a 1-yard halfback dive? I love when everyone's like, the Chiefs get all the calls. I'm like, let me tell you about the Bills calls.
Oh.
We got a holding call. That Allen touchdown for the Jets. Our Allen, the running back out of Wisconsin. A 1-yard half a yard halfback dive. They called a holding on. Changed that whole game.
Gary, they clinched the division by Thanksgiving. It didn't matter if they were losing that game.
Mag, it would have mattered.
I love
we
our
wouldn't have fired.
competition.
It would have mattered. We just fired Saleh. It might have sparked us. I'm very upset about it still.
Yeah, that was a whole mess. We'll do that next time.
Yeah, next time.
Gary V, thank you so much. Okay, we got to take a quick break. When we get back, Andrew Bogusch is here with headlines for us, and we've got so much more, including our poll question for you today. Can the Eagles win a close game against these Chiefs if it comes down to that? M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff here on Radio Row. If you miss any of our interviews and want to catch them, you can always hit the rewind function on the free Odyssey app, which is great. It's there for 24 hours. You can download the Maggie and Perloff podcast, or you can hit rewind on our live stream, youtube.com/infinitysportsnet. Let's get to Andrew Bogusch, who has headlines for us. Good morning, Bogues.
Maggie, good morning. Jimmy Butler's wish has been granted. Headed out of Miami, about to join the Warriors, and Butler will apparently decline next season's $52 million option, instead signing a fresh 2-year extension worth $111 million with Golden State. The Dubs are sending Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, and a top 10 protected first rounder this morning to Miami, and they're sending Dennis Schroeder to the Jazz, while the Pistons get Josh Richardson from the Heat. Miami players found out about the divorce during a 108-101 win in Philly. Nikola Jovic sad to see Butler go.
My brother, man, I'm going to miss him for sure. I think a lot of guys here will, and he's someone who did a lot for this franchise. You know, he's someone who helped me so much, where I'm not sure if I'll be here right now if there wasn't him, and I'm sad and happy at the same moment. You know, I'm sad we're not going to see him anymore, but I'm really happy that he got what he wanted.
We can't have a sad Nikola Jovic. The trade,
heaven forbid.
The trade had the Warriors shorthanded in Utah last night. They lost 131-128. There were other trades as well. Brandon Ingram to the Raptors and Hornets center Mark Williams to the Lakers. He's costing L.A. Dalton Connect, Cam Reddish, and an unprotected 2031 number 1. Back on the court, the Thunder cruise to a 140-109 win with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scoring 50 again. He's the 9th player ever to get to 50 3 times in a 7-game span.
Sean Gilgeous-Alexander.
Exactly. De'Aaron Fox with 24 points, 13 assists in his Spurs debut, a 126-125 win in Atlanta. He watched Wemby score 24, grab 12 rebounds, and hit the tie-breaking free throw with 2 seconds left.
He's special. Like, just the type of attention that he commands on the defensive end allows you to do things that you normally wouldn't do. So that's why I think this group can do a lot of things.
Zach
LaVine had 13 in his Kings debut, a 130-111 home loss to the Magic.
Oh, by the way, exciting update.
On who?
On Andrew Perloff meeting Victor Wembanyama someday.
What? Tell us.
We did, because we're not always on top of everything. Guess where the Final Four is this year? San Antone.
Oh, yes.
Double dipping, baby. I'm gonna now my new plan is to drive down, apologize to Victor Wembanyama. Hopefully, I don't know how we're gonna do it. Maybe bring the crew. It is going to be a San Antonio party, hopefully. I'm going to get my tacos.
Wherever you are.
Yeah. I'm going to get my tacos with Bruce Pearl. It's going to be awesome.
Wait, hold on one second.
Yeah.
Have you checked the schedule?
No.
To make sure that the
because
Spurs
you're right.
are there
That's
during
a
the
good
Final
point.
Four? Because wouldn't they be using the Spurs arena?
God, Maggie, why are you ruining my taco buzz here?
You mean Frostbank Center.
Oh, thank you.
Manny.
Wait, EJ, can you quickly Google what's the day the Final Four? And I got the Spurs schedule ahead of me.
The Final Four is the first full weekend of April, which would be
4th.
Yes.
Okay, actually, they're home for Cleveland Friday, April 4th. Cavaliers in town. Oh, you get a good one.
Wow, that is exciting.
Friday, April 4th. Yeah, I guess because the Final Four is.
Also, the Final
Saturday
Four is
and
probably
Monday.
it might be in the Alamo Dome. Might not even be in their building.
Oh, that's a good point.
It is in the Alamo Dome.
All right. Well, it's going to be hoops heaven in San Antonio that weekend. This
Yeah.
is perfect.
Who's with me? Let's go, America.
Well, clearly not
Nice,
Bogusch
wherever you are.
because you won't let him go with
Yeah.
you.
Who's with me?
Right. No, let me not clear my schedule. Stand by. I'm typing it in right now. Not going to San Antonio. Okay. Great.
Anywhere
That's
but
settled.
San Antonio.
Stay out of Texas.
Yeah, by the way,
You're like, who's coming with me? Oh, wait a minute. I don't want anyone to come with me.
I feel terrible putting that out. The universities are many hoops to go through to make that happen, but I got so excited when I heard this.
No, this is happening.
This is happening.
Yeah.
I like that you even like, wow, we get to see the Cavs.
But I'm not driving with you.
No,
way.
that's obvious.
I'll fly. I can't do that.
We had to take an hour Uber ride, and oh my God, Maggie was like, this is too much.
I was like, can I just ride on the roof?
Yes, we should have flown.
It was... It was so much Andrew Wiggins talk. And to be fair, I was participating. But it wasn't just the conversation. I just can't do those long road trips. I get car sick.
Pre-trade Andrew Wiggins conversation as well.
I know.
Oh.
We're going to have to do another hour. We'll have to find a new gator farm in Ponchatoula.
The NFL said yesterday the Rams will host the league's first ever game in Melbourne, Australia.
I seem to have totally lost the Australian accent. I had it for a minute, and now I'm going between American and English.
Well, thankfully, that game is not until 2026, so we've got time to work on the accent.
Was that me or Rory McIlroy? I can't
Exactly.
tell.
Well, he's Irish, so.
And funny enough, it was supposed to be Cam Smith, so who is
Listen,
Australian?
The greatest vocal coach on earth couldn't help this. I mean, Perloff's in a class of his own.
That actually had some Scottish undertones or overtones.
That wasn't helping either because Scotland is far away from Australia.
Hello, Maggie.
It always ends up with you doing just such a mishmash.
Yeah, a little Katharine Hepburn mixed in there.
At what point?
The loons, Norman, the loons.
At one point, you dipped your toe in Jamaican as well in this Cam Smith breakdown.
Oh, man, this is going to end with all of us fired.
Pete Alonso and the Mets have reportedly agreed on a 2-year deal worth $54 million. Alonso will make $30 million for this season, then can opt out, so we'll probably do this dance again next winter.
Oh, fun.
A top 15 SEC matchup last night. 4th-ranked Tennessee held off number 15 Missouri 85-81. Zakai Ziegler, 21 points, 8 assists after missing the Vols' weekend win over Florida with a sore knee. And Ohio State football is promoting Brian Hartline to primary offensive coordinator, replacing Chip Kelly. They shared that title a year ago. Hartline, of course, has also coached Buckeye receivers since 2018. Guys, back to you.
Folks, thanks so much. Okay, lots to do, including updating some poll questions for you. So we've got a few out there. I'm surprised the one about greatest tight end of all time, or who is the better tight end, Travis Kelce or Rob Gronkowski, is the landslide that it is. 72% to 28%. I don't think that's just because of Chiefs fatigue.
No, everyone hates all things Chiefs right now.
Oh, yeah, because Rob Gronkowski isn't anywhere. The dude's...
He played for the Patriots.
Yeah, he played for the Patriots, and so they're one of the most unlikable dynasties.
Honestly, people don't even remember disliking the Patriots. This is like...
Yes, we do.
By the way, I've talked to so many... Well, you guys are Jets fans, but I've talked to so many... and Bills fans. I've talked to so many people here who are so sick of the Chiefs. That thing is not a joke. Everybody hates the Chiefs. Like, everybody hates Chris. Was that the show? Yeah.
Also, can the Eagles win a close game against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl? 58% are with me. They say yes, they can. Our last guest, Gary Vaynerchuk, the venture capitalist and motivational speaker and all that stuff, he also thought that they could win a close game. And he said last year he bet that the game was going to go to overtime. Nailed that bet.
Second question, will the Eagles win a close game? Can. Yeah, of course they can.
Well, you don't think they can.
No, I don't.
Well, that's where this
No,
came
I still
from.
voted no, but I still think people are like, people might have read that and say, is it in the realm of possibility? And I actually don't think it is. They have to be crushing this team to get away with a W. And I think, honestly, I think you're with me, Maggie. I think they have a chance to do this. I think they can repeat the 2020 Bucks where they can really get after Mahomes.
Maybe we do that as a poll question. More likely to happen, Eagles blow the Chiefs out, Chiefs win a close game.
Yeah, I mean, that's a hard one. I still
hard.
think Chiefs win, though. No, I think it's hard to imagine that. It's much easier. Chiefs close win. It's like that's what we see the Chiefs do again and again and again. So that's how I'd vote as well.
Yeah, 855-212-4227. We have not done a ton of basketball this morning because we've been so wrapped up with the Super Bowl, but obviously we know about the big Jimmy Butler trade yesterday. He finally gets his wish, but not exactly. He wanted to go to the Phoenix Suns. He instead gets moved to the Golden State Warriors. It's going to be an interesting collection of stars here with Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green, all guys who are future Hall of Famers, all guys who have played their best on the biggest stages, and can they actually put it together for one last hurrah?
No. I seriously doubt it.
Pretty definitive there, Pearl.
You know, Butler was a bit of a role player. He when he was with Sixers, he was the primary ball handler all the time, and he was very effective.
Coming up next, get ready, SEC football fans. Former Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe will join us right here on our set on Radio Row. Don't move. It's M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Getting closer and closer to Super Bowl 59. Maggie and Perloff show here in New Orleans on Radio Row. And one of the things we love about this week is not just the Hall of Famers and the Super Bowl champions that we get to speak to, but the up-and-comers, the next generation. And right now joining us on our set, we're so pleased to welcome in former Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe on behalf of Auto Trader. So, Jalen, how do you think your last season at Alabama went?
I have no regrets for last season. Everything that was poured into the season, I just correlate everything to the offseason. You know, getting to know new people with a new staff change. Also getting to know new people as far as the offensive side of the ball. Because we only had 3 returning starters. We had 2 guards and me at quarterback. And so it was all about the relationship aspect that I'll always cherish forever. Of course, you know, when you start the season off, you have short-term goal, long-term goal that you want to accomplish. And winning is everything, you know, of course. But the relationship that was built this past season, the grind, the sweat, the grit from everybody as a whole, to be able to start the season off and then finish the season with the guys is what means the most to me. So I think that's how I just narrow my focus into that aspect of it and just acknowledging that I have no regrets because I poured everything into the season.
You know, it's the era of NIL and transfer portal. And I remember when you would come in as a backup for Bryce Young. Were you ever tempted to leave Alabama or when Coach Saban left?
Not necessarily because of Coach Saban. You know, one thing he harps on is about trusting the process. Everybody's process is different when playing football. And so, of course, you know, my angle was always taking a rep. When I say always taking a rep, a mental rep and a physical rep whenever I'm in and whenever I'm not in. And so that correlated to my growth as a quarterback, growth as a person, just always trying to grow each and every day because I know that, you know, the cliche thing is 1% better. And so if you just pouring into yourself 1%, you're going to get better. And so when the day came to be the starting quarterback, I was prepared to go.
What about when Coach DeBoer came in? Was there any thoughts of leaving at that point and trying something else?
No, absolutely. I didn't want to make an emotional decision early on. You know, of course, you know, it was a shock to everybody that Coach Saban retired. And so we're just acknowledging and seeing who was going to take the job, who was going to come in, having a spring under our belt to be around these coaches. And so it was all about being patient and just understanding it was a process.
Jalen Milroe is with us on behalf of Auto Trader, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. Now that you've had a full season to reflect back, what were the biggest differences between Kalen DeBoer and Nick Saban?
Yeah. I think what's harped on is the differences, but one thing that's unique about both of them is the standard of excellence. They both pushed us to be our very, very best. Of course, when he talks about a program, it's going to be different. You know, different mindsets when you know, when they're harping on a team. But they both correlated to the standard of excellence. They always try to pour it into us, just ensuring that we're on the right path to be the best version of ourselves, no matter what we're doing on and off the field, to be better men. You know, they both see football differently, but it's the standard of excellence that pushes us.
You know, you're going to be doing draft prep and preparing for all different kinds of offensive systems. When you think about your next step in the NFL, what's the perfect kind of offense for Jalen Milroe? What would you like to run if you could choose it yourself?
Yeah, for sure. You know, one thing that's big, just not being one-dimensional, being able to attack defenses in all areas of the game, passing game, running game. And so there's so many offenses out there that have exposure to that. And so we just want to be dynamic on offense. You know, Coach Saban simplified the game being a point guard with the football, distributing the ball to our playmakers to allow them to do amazing things in space, whether it's distributing them in that running game, whether it's distributing them in the passing game, just doing your job in a sense. So for me, I don't really have a mindset what exactly I want to run, but I just know it's going to be a lot of fun.
Jalen Milroe is with us. You just came off of the Senior Bowl. What was the biggest compliment you got and the biggest critique?
I think the biggest compliment I made, I was coachable, able to grow. I came in just wanting to learn, grow. This is my first-hand experience being around NFL coaches, being around them, the exposure that I was able to have as a whole. The critique necessarily would be always grind, always look to get better. And that's for all of us there. It wasn't a critique necessarily for me, but also just all of us on the field, just trying to grow and get better as a person, because all coaches want to see is the development piece of just growing and getting better.
We were talking to Ryan Leaf, who's a good friend of Perloff's and has become a friend of mine, and he met you at the Senior Bowl, and he said one of the things you guys had a conversation about, creating your own expectations, not other people's. Alabama quarterbacks have been on this rocket ship when it goes to the draft of going number 1 overall or going in the first round. You feel an expectation to live up to those other Alabama QBs, or how do you avoid that and make sure you're just on your own and doing your own thing?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. I think prior to the NFL draft, it was acknowledging what it took to be a starting quarterback at the University of Alabama prior to taking my first snap. And so I think that honestly, geared my mindset to this process of going through draft prep, is being prepared for all, scenarios when it comes to what is in store. But also just acknowledging the great people that have started in the role, with the people that led the way, with Jalen Hurts, Mac Jones, Tua, Bryce. And so those are great guys. And so all you want to do is learn and just acknowledge, what right looks like in a sense. So there's so much exposure to great quarterbacks and being at Alabama. So I have a first-hand experience of seeing that.
So one thing that's notable about you is your speed, obviously. I saw your teammates talking about you, say you're the fastest guy on the team. Is this true? Faster than Ryan Williams? I don't know if you guys have raced. And do you think you'll be running as part of this pre-draft process? And if so, have you thought about, because there are people who think you might run, if you choose to run a crazy 40.
No, I'm still in decision-making of running the 40. I definitely have speed. It's something that's constantly been growing, constantly a part of my game as a quarterback, just making it harder for defenses, as much as possible. But as far as being fast on the team, I'll say that my speed is always at the top when it comes to our football team, when it's on the board.
Jalen Milroe just came off a fantastic career, the Alabama Crimson Tide quarterback. Do you think you could start right away in the NFL, or would you like to go to a place where maybe you get to learn from a veteran?
Yeah, absolutely. The competitive nature in me, of course, starting right away, going to an organization that is the best fit for me, but also acknowledging that there's room to grow. Where I want to be right now to my first start in NFL, there need to be work. And so right now it's all about the grind, putting my head down, acknowledging whatever is a weakness, turning to a strength, whatever's my strength, turning even stronger. So at this point right now, it's all about preparing, getting better, and also just knowing that I got to learn a new system wherever I go.
So correct me if I'm wrong on this timeline. Were you there with Jalen Hurts at all at Alabama? You missed him.
Nah, right? I missed him.
Do you have a relationship? Because I'm thinking about a guy who had an interesting transition to the NFL, had to go to Oklahoma and show off his passing skills. What can you learn from Jalen Hurts? We're, by the way, right underneath the Jalen Hurts poster. Yeah.
Literally lording over us on this big banner.
Yeah. No, I like Jalen Hurts a lot. One thing that is so important is the growth aspect of it. Just trying to constantly get better, constantly acknowledge just the journey piece. That's it's beauty in the journey, and something that's always been a theme of his career, a theme of who he is as a person, is just the joy in the process. And there's so much things I can take away from him. Me, biasness, he's from Texas. So
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
I know, yeah.
He's from Texas, so I'm always behind him. Alabama quarterback as well. So we have a relationship. Yeah. The best thing about playing this game is having the support, and he's been supportive throughout my career, and also vice versa. So I'm always pulling for him.
All right. Houston, right?
Yeah.
So if you had to do a Mount Rushmore of Texas high school quarterbacks, and we know how big, who are your top 4 guys? 4 best Texas high school quarterbacks.
Kyler Murray, number 1. Kyler Murray, Andrew Luck, Drew Brees. I got to think on that one.
Stafford from Texas?
Stafford's from Dallas,
yeah. Yeah, he's from
Baker
Dallas.
Mayfield,
I give it to him. I give it to Stafford. Those are my guys.
What about Jalen Milroe?
Jalen Milroe, that's not for me to decide. That's not for me to decide.
Well, I'm talking about in high school because I imagine you were quite good in high school.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I was able to go to University of Alabama.
Yeah.
And not too people can say
good.
that.
I love how Michael Parsons said he was recruited to Alabama to play running back.
Yeah.
He could have been
Imagine him
your,
playing running back.
Your teammate, Jalen Miller, joining us on behalf of Auto Trader here at Radio Row at the Super Bowl. What kind of car do you drive? Obviously, this spoke to you in some way to team up with Auto Trader. Are you a big car guy?
I am. And so I have a first-hand experience of using Auto Trader. I was able to purchase the Porsche, and so I just know the process that's all involved of it. Although it's a stressful process of trying to select a car, they made it easy. Just the process, the budgeting process of it, the information, the easy access, and just the exposure that I was able to have through that process. So they made it easy, and so I just know that in the future I'm going to be using Auto Trader as well.
Yeah. Go to autotrader.com. I mean, everyone can buy a Porsche. Go ahead. Listen, you earned it, Jalen. You absolutely did.
Jalen's like me. He's just a nice guy. We're probably a bad negotiator. Like I know, so Auto Trader is so much easier because if anybody
you're not good on the lot.
I'll get the price up on it.
Yeah.
Jalen Milroe, on behalf of Auto Trader, thank you so much and good luck in the draft process. And we'll talk to you again, hopefully, before you get drafted.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Now, the big question is, where is Jalen Milroe going to get drafted? Like, what round? Because, Perloff, we talked about the Senior Bowl, and he had some really good stuff, as he told you. They complimented him that he's coachable, and he's kind of like a work in progress, as we all are. But and then he was a little inconsistent as well. That kind of mirrors what we saw at Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, we're sitting under a Jalen Hurts poster. They're both from Houston. They've both been really system dependent on how much they pass the ball, but they're both very strong and great runners. I don't know, maybe second round like Jalen Hurts and he becomes a really good player.
Yeah, I could see that. Maggie and Perloff show. You can call us at 855-212-4227. So that was a little Jalen Milroe. Just want to give a heads up to all the Cowboys fans out there. The one and only Emmitt Smith will be joining us later in this hour. So if you'd like to hear from Emmitt, what he has to say about the moving on from Mike McCarthy, the ushering in of the Brian Schottenheimer era.
Oh, yeah.
And whether or not Jerry is standing in the way of this team actually getting back to the top of the mountain, that's coming your way in just a little bit. Okay, lots more to do here from Radio Row. We get back to it right after this.
Oh, Maggie, I am so fired up, not just because my Philadelphia Eagles are in the big game, because of Prize Picks. One more time, we get to pick football this weekend. Prize Picks is the best place to cash in on the big game. App, is so simple to use. You pick two or more players across any sport, pick more or less on their projection, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money. I know, Maggie, you've been just watching the NBA trade deadline very closely to see how players fit and maybe get some easy W's here.
Well, I saw the De'Aaron Fox thing coming. I mean, that was slam dunk on Prize Picks last night. And what did I pair it up with? Well, how about a little Duke basketball?
Nice.
Can I interest anyone in a little Duke? So this kind of stuff is like shooting fish in a barrel, basically. And you can do this too. All you got to do is download the Prize Picks app. It's available in more than 40 states, including California and Texas. And as Perloff said, the big game is coming. Join Prize Picks now. They're giving away a free pick for the big game where a quarterback will only need to throw 1 yard to win. We think these guys can cover that. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code MMP and get $50 in bonus promo funds instantly when you play $5. That's code MMP on Prize Picks to get $50 in bonus promo funds instantly when you play $5. Win or lose, you get $50 in bonus credits just for playing. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Manned P.
You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff show. Maggie, we're so excited.
I know.
Yeah.
Absolutely one of our favorite guests who we get to sit with. It feels like every year at the Super Bowl, the Hall of Famer, and that's Emmitt Smith, who's here on behalf of Tableau, which we'll get to in just a moment. Emmitt, it's so good to see you. We love these yearly chats. We got to make this happen more often.
Well, they keep the Super Bowl going. We keep living. We can make it happen.
Okay, so first things first, before we get to Tableau, obviously lots of changes going on with your former team, the Dallas Cowboys, and the head coach. Clear something up for me quickly before we get into Brian Schottenheimer, Mike McCarthy. When that job became available, did you want that job? Did you want to be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys?
No, not literally.
Okay.
Put it this way, I did tell someone asked me about coaching, and I did make a statement. If I did come and coach any teams, there's only 3 teams I really want to coach. The Dallas Cowboys, the University of Florida Gators, and the Texas A&M Aggies. That's it. Those are the 3 teams I want to coach for. And that was it. And somebody took the statement and ran with it.
Okay. So this was a hypothetical.
It's very much a hypothetical.
Okay.
There's no way.
Why is it a hypothetical? Would you seriously want to coach at some point?
I mean, I like what Dion is doing. I think we former players can make the biggest impact in young men's lives at that level or even lower. Because we've been there, done it. We know what it takes and what's required to get there. We can tell a very talented kid, you're very talented, but you're lazy. And when you're lazy, you won't make it because your talent at some point is going to diminish. And the only thing that's going to keep you going is your work ethic. And if your work ethic is poor, it's going to end quickly. And when you get around other dogs that are hungry and you're not as hungry, you're going to get destroyed. So understanding and creating the environment for fair and open competition is really what it's all about. That's what Nick Saban was so good. And because he had fair and open competition for 3-star, 4-star, or 5-star to develop themselves into quality football players. He created the environment. That's why the Dallas Cowboys in the 90s were as good as we were, because Jimmy created the environment for us to have open and fair competition and compete against our defense, and our defense compete against us, which made us tougher, and which made them tougher, and made them better, made us better as a team. So to me, that's the mold which I come from, which is the old school way of football, not this new soft football. Soft football from a league standpoint when it comes down to rules, when it comes down to hitting, and everything else.
Emmitt Smith is joining us, the Hall of Famer, on behalf of Tableau, which we'll talk to because it ties in, obviously, with the Super Bowl. Last year at this time, the Cowboys had just come off that awful loss to the Green Bay Packers.
Mm-hmm.
No one could figure out why they got smacked in the mouth like that.
And they still haven't figured it out.
It's unfair. And, you were critical of Mike McCarthy at the time, and rightfully so. He's now gone. Do you think that the Cowboys made the right decision to move on, A? And B, is Brian Schottenheimer, their offense coordinator, the right man for this job?
It's kind of confusing because you thought Mike McCarthy fired Kellen Moore so he can call the plays. And now you tell me Schottenheimer was calling the plays. So I'm a little confused. And when there's confusion, you get what you get right now. And so to me, there has not been – the Cowboys have – migrated from what I would believe was the foundation of the Cowboys organization. And that was when Jimmy and Jerry started this whole journey. And there was a clear vision of the operations of the football team. There was a clear vision in terms of what the Cowboys organization had the potential to become. And all of that started to work and align itself. There has not been an alignment, in my opinion, for a long time. There's not been a commitment to not only the brand of the Dallas Cowboys globally and what that brand really means, but operationally, that operation brand has not even married up or prepared itself to the brand on the global basis. So I think the vision and the direction need to get realigned. I think there's a disalignment in terms of who the Cowboys really are. I mean, that commitment needs to be balanced. That's the way the game was built. That's the way we built it. That's the way we want it. And we've gotten away from it. We're running around trying to chase and do what everyone else is doing, and I think that's a bad thing.
Well, is that on Jerry Jones?
That's on. I mean, he's going to tell you it's on him as well. At the end of the day, he makes the decision. He made that very clear. So there's no questioning who's it on. I mean, period. And so he's directing everything. So it starts with him and it ends with him. And he's the first one to tell you that.
Emmitt Smith is joining us, the Hall of Famer, the 3-time Super Bowl champion, on behalf of Tableau, which we'll get to, big stuff before the Super Bowl. I have a theory about Jerry, but you know him obviously much better than I would. I have a theory that he's actually doesn't really want to win. He might think he does, but he's in the Hall of Fame. He keeps the Dallas Cowboys relevant because he's always out there talking. He keeps hope, and people, he dangles a carrot in front of Dallas Cowboy fans, right, so they'll follow him. But as far as building a championship team and doing that takes, he won't do it. So I don't think he really does want to win another Super Bowl, Emmitt. I'm curious what you think of that theory.
I kind of find that hard to believe, but I understand the theory. I think I can't totally disagree with it because in the 30 years, as smart of a man as Jerry Jones really is, you would have thought that he would have made the adjustments and did what's required to get his team back to the Super Bowl, especially when you are and have been the leader of everything in the National Football League since you got in the league. Everyone has, you are the grand poobah of the National Football League. I mean, you showed them how to build a beautiful stadium, and what that really means to each and every organization. You showed them what it's like to have a first-class facility in terms of your headquarters. You showed them how to create more value for the National Football League in terms of television contracts and everything else. You also help probably shape the structure of salary caps and everything else. Such a brilliant man. Now, can you take the time to figure out what's going on within our own organization to help us get back to the Super Bowl? Hey, if you don't get back, that's fine with me. You know why it's fine with me? Because you're going to keep talking about Troy, Michael, and Emmett. And the 1990s Dallas Cowboys. If you really want to get back there and change that narrative and put your fingerprint on it, do something different. Because what's been happening over the last 25, 30 years is not working.
So when reports came out that Deion Sanders was a candidate, what did you think of hiring Deion as a head coach at this level? Me personally, I thought Deion would he'll be a great coach. Don't get me wrong. He'll be a great coach. I didn't know if he really wanted to coach the Dallas Cowboys because Deion he's a motivator. He's an inspirational guy. And he wants to he's been raising kids for a long time. And raising kids meaning that I can impact their lives. I'm not sure that some of these grown men that are getting paid millions of dollars want to sit down and hear every story. And so it creates a challenge for him. But I think he can adjust and make it happen, make it work. And so, but I think he'll be a phenomenal coach at no matter what level. The question is, does he really want to coach that next level? Or where he feels he can impact a person's life?
Well, I would love to know. Deion Sanders walks in, and you've got an Emmitt Smith in his playing prime. You're just coming off a season with over 2,000 yards from scrimmage. Would you want to hear Deion's
most definitely, because
inspirational messages?
He's been there.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm a different kind of player. I'm a throwback kind of player. I'm not a player that's in this era that's always looking for clicks or looking for that. I'm looking for a performance on the football field. What's going to help me become a better football player? How can I move to this place of consistency and longevity? Who can help me do that? And who can put me in a position to where I get a chance to impact my team when I'm on the football field? That's really what's important. That's the way most players should be thinking. I was never worried about whether or not I was going to get paid because my performance would dictate whether or not I would get paid and how much I get paid. It's pretty simple. There's a formula out here. I can go look at the top 5 running backs in the National Football League to this day, and that top 5 is going to have rushing yards and it's going to have $1 tied to them. And at the end of the day, how do I climb the ranks? What do I need to do? What offense I need to be in? What coordinator is going to help me meet my personal goals within the team concept? Because if I want to become a Super Bowl champion and these guys up here aren't Super Bowl champions, then there's a formula for that too. But if I want to become a Super Bowl champion in the 90s and this guy got 3 rings and he's leading the league in rushing, that's what I want too. So you find inspiration everywhere. And the question is the organization willing to go there with you?
Did you think it was the right move to re-sign Dak Prescott?
Yes. Who else was better? Outside that, you have to develop a new quarterback. And developing quarterbacks in this day and age, even in college nowadays, kids get to move around so much, you can't develop great quarterbacks. I mean, if they ain't happy, they leave. And if they leaving that quickly, then they might not be for your organization in the first place.
Well, you mentioned balance earlier. How about drafting Ashton Jeanty out of Boise State? He's in a lot of mock drafts going to the Cowboys. For the Cowboys.
I think it's a bad move, to be honest. I think we need more than Ashton Jeanty. I think if Ashton Jeanty comes to the Cowboys right now, he's going to get beat up. I don't think we're ready. We don't have the right mindset. We don't have the right commitments. I just talked about commitments and being disaligned. I think we're drafting exciting pieces. Back to your point earlier about winning. Exciting pieces that would get fans, we got Ashton Jeanty. We're going to be able to run the ball. Okay. You're trying to tell me Ezekiel Elliott and Rico Dowdle could not carry their team? No. There was no commitment to run the football. And when there was a commitment, when Dak Prescott went down, Rico ran the ball well. So don't tell me we can't run the football. Dak went down. They shifted from Cooper Kupp. Well, not Cooper Kupp, but Cooper Rush. They brought his passes down and created more runs for the running game. And then you start having this level of balance and start to show some kind of consistency. Need to do that the whole entire year. That's the formula that I'm talking about. And so quit trying to do what everyone else is doing in the National Football League. Your quarterback is not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Josh Allen. He's not Joe Burrows. He's Dak Prescott. And there's a formula for Dak Prescott to be successful. And I don't think Mike McCarthy and them tapped into that formula. They try to do what everyone else is doing, a copycat league.
The Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith on behalf of Tableau. Okay, this is cool. It's a device, and it's a way that you can watch the Super Bowl for free.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Well, nothing is ever free, of course. Nothing is ever free.
I'm sorry, without a subscription.
How about without subscription and
go.
no fees and all that kind of stuff? That's where the free part comes at. Because if you got TV right now, you got all kinds of things, apps that you have to download, and you have to pay for these apps. And those apps adds up to big dollars on a month-to-month basis. With Tableau, you can get as many channels, especially sports channels, and see all the sporting events that you want, all for one price, to hook up an antenna and to link into your Wi-Fi, so you can get all these channels and hit pause, rewind, and play, and all these kind of things with the device. But you get all your local channels. You get televisions. You get different type of networks and everything else. And so for one price versus paying all these subscriptions.
Oh, I have 100. I don't even know what I subscribe to anymore. I've got so many.
Here's the crazy thing. I'm asking myself, I got all these TVs in my house. This one device connects to all of my TVs. All of my TVs. And not only that, but all of my TVs get the same channels. So my kids can be watching something different upstairs, and I can be watching something different downstairs. And so, but with some of these packages, you can find yourself paying $300, $400, $500 a month.
I know.
For these packages.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. TableauTV.com is where
ma'am.
you can go for all of the details and this great product. Because, I mean, it's out of control.
Yeah.
We need Tableau. Perloff does.
Oh, totally. I know you got to run real quick. Could Micah Parsons be as good a running back as you? Because he claims he could.
I doubt it. I doubt it. He may be tough, but he can't run it like I run it. There's a reason why I play running back and he played defensive end. There's a reason why you are a defensive end, bro. There's a reason why you're that. All this I coulda, woulda, shoulda, we'll never know, will we?
Tell you what, not many ran it like you, Emmitt Smith, the Hall of Famer on behalf of Tableau, and go to TableauTV.com for more details. Thanks,
Thank you.
Emmitt.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, let's head to Andrew Bogusch. We're going to actually take a quick break. We'll come back with Bogusch and headlines and everything from Radio Row in just a moment. It's M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Maggie and Perloff Show. We're so pleased to be joined in person by our pal Nick Costos. Every Friday you hear him on our show, but now we're together here in New Orleans. Nick, how you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Better than I'm with you guys. How are you guys?
We're doing great. Okay, let's get to this. This line has not changed. It has not budged. 1.5, that's what it's maintained. Chiefs favored. Have your thoughts changed at all? I know you have a future on the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl, but have your thoughts changed at all by anything you've heard this week?
I wouldn't say my thoughts have changed. I would say that I'm getting a little nervous as the week goes on. My nervousness is, are the Eagles going to stuff the Chiefs in a locker?
Really?
Because I don't know if there's a game state that exists where Kansas City blows the Eagles out. I think the Chiefs win the game like they win every game. Like, it's close, and Mahomes is the best quarterback of all time in those spots. But I do think there's a game state where Philly wins this game similarly to the Bucs in Super Bowl 55 against the Chiefs, and they lean on them in the line of scrimmage. Now, Kansas City had O-line injuries in that game, but Philly's tremendously talented, obviously, in the trenches on both sides. So I'm still, I'm in on Kansas City. I'm not hedging. I'm not betting Philadelphia at all. But I would say I am getting a little nervous. Maybe it's just too much time in between Championship Sunday and the Super Bowl, but I'm getting a little nervous as we approach Sunday.
Nick, your Peacock cohort, Chris Sims had a great point. For the Eagles to beat the Chiefs, they might have to crush them, which obviously makes sense. If you crush somebody, you're going to win the game. But I think Eagles fans are nervous, and I'm an Eagles fan, that a close game is not going to go well. So, as you said, stuff in the locker, try and get a big lead. I know, obviously, you want to get a big lead, but it feels really important for the Eagles to jump out on this one.
Yeah, and I'll just say, I don't want to say that Kansas City, that Philly can't win a close game, because it is worth noting, and I think I'm a bigger Jalen Hurts fan than most. I think Jalen Hurts is awesome. He did play the best game of his career in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and you could make an argument that he's the MVP of that game even in a losing effort.
Wow.
Like he was like, I know he put the ball on the ground for a fumble 6. He was every bit as good as Patrick Mahomes in that Super Bowl. So almost like, why can't that happen again? So if you're the Eagles, I think obviously any team wants to jump out to a lead in any game, but I think you almost have more confidence. How about like the same amount of confidence you would have in Josh Allen? And I don't mean that in a negative way, that like Allen should have beaten the Chiefs in the 13 seconds game. Like he played well enough to beat Mahomes in that game. Hurts played well enough to win Super Bowl 57. So that if the game's close, like I'm going to feel confident because like Mahomes has always done it, but I'm not going to feel like it's 100%.
So how do you live bet this game? Because I have a feeling that the Eagles are going to have a lead going into the fourth quarter, and maybe money starts pouring in on Philadelphia. Like, give us the live bettor's view of this.
Yeah, I guess it really depends on like how the game state plays out. I think if you get Kansas City, you'll probably get Kansas City at some point as an underdog in the game. And that, I think, would be valuable to somebody who does not have a current position. Of course, I say this as someone who likes Kansas City in the game. So Philly jumps out to a lead. Let's say they're up by 10 in the midway through the second, but possibly they were up by double digits in the first half in Super Bowl 57. And you get Kansas City plus 3.5, where they lose by 3 and you win. Yeah, that seems pretty good. I actually want to take your question in a different direction.
Yeah, go ahead.
And that's in the live MVP market.
Okay.
Because MVP will be open during the game.
Right.
And that is just tremendously, tremendously fun. So last year was a bit of a wacky Super Bowl, right? So the last drive of the game, as like you feel like Kansas City's going to win the game, Mahomes is just going to win. Yeah. But during the whole all of regulation, you have no idea who's going to win. Actually felt like Jawan Jennings was the most likely Super Bowl MVP for like a lot of the second half, and Jennings is getting slammed in the live market because you don't know how to account for that in the moment. Like, think about it. All the factors that are at play here, weighting the probability of the quarterbacks. Harrison Butler was getting slammed at points last year because there was no offense early in the game. I think that's a really fun market. Let's say first drive of the game, Jalen Carter, strip sack of Mahomes. He returns it for a touchdown. 7-0 Eagles. Now you have entered a game where you have an outcome now where Jalen Carter can win Super Bowl MVP, and he's going to be at a huge price in the live market. Similarly, like George Karlaftis, strip sack fumble, another strip sack fumble. Or here's Quinyon Mitchell with 2 interceptions in the first half. Not that they're going to win, but now you have outcomes where crazy things could happen, right? Things have happened that could create an outcome where, here's Malcolm Smith. Here's Dexter Jackson. Here's Larry Brown, Super Bowl MVP, where something crazy like that could happen.
For people who love this game for the just pages and pages of interesting props, besides anytime touchdown for Kraut Katera, who else do you like? What else do you like?
Yeah, so we're looking for like player-specific stuff or like anything?
Just anything. Fun stuff.
So I bet the coin toss every year. It's a terrible mathematical bet to place because you're paying a vig on a 50-50 proposition. But I love it. And I will just say, I think I said this with you guys last week, like, please gamble responsibly with this game because you're probably going to have more bets than normal. And when you go to sleep at night, if you lose all those bets, you need to be able to fall asleep and not be like feel terrible about yourself.
Be tails.
So, so I'm going to have all these bets. I'm going to bet responsibly. So if I lose everything, I'm not devastated when I go to bed at night. So I bet tails every single year. The rush that you get when that coin's in the air, man, and you're waiting to find out what it is absolutely tremendous. So you can create these little moments of excitement for yourself, right? And also call 1-800-GAMBLER if you feel like you have a problem. These great pockets of excitement. You can bet the color of Gatorade to get dumped on the coach.
I know, but you've told me in the past that there are certain bets that people will know, and you can tell that by the market. So it gets out.
Yeah, so you'll
like the national anthem singer, you're going to know how long they are.
That will get because that
get leaked.
That gets leaked and it gets blasted and then it gets taken down.
Yes.
So I have an offshore account that I use. And they have actually changed the verbiage on it this year. And I think it says, bets good up until rehearsal starts. So they are reserving the right, basically, and this is not a domestic sports book, not BetMGM, like an offshore account. The way people used to gamble before gambling was legal, where they are literally reserving the right to say, we are going to, cancel your bet if you feel like you have information. So, that stuff will get out. And
right,
just
you hear the rehearsal, then someone calls somebody,
correct.
And then everyone knows.
So let's say, for instance, right, I don't have the market in front of me, that the Gatorade color, let's say purple's plus 600, and then you look at it right before kickoff and it's like minus 120.
Yeah.
Like people probably know that it's going to be purple, correct, using the market as a guide there. But I love bets like that where, away from yardage, I can do more yardage stuff, but, like coach to throw coach's challenge flag. When you are looking for, like, is the ball out or not? And then the camera shows the coach, and he's like, is he going to throw the flag or not? Those moments of excitement are really great.
All right, what about some yardage stuff, though? And then I want to get an over-under thought on you.
Okay, so I'll start. Kansas City, the guy that I like, and it's been bet up, and now I think it's close to right, is Juju Smith-Schuster. So, when the Chiefs traded in late October for DeAndre Hopkins, the expectation was he's going to be like a big factor in this offense. Through 2 playoff games, they barely used him. And I've heard people say, well, now it's the Super Bowl, now they're going to use him, to which I would say, I don't know, like, we watched the AFC title game. Like, if they needed him in that game, they would have used him. They didn't. And he seems like, in quotes that he's given, to be kind of okay with this, playing like this reduced role. Juju went for 3-60 in the AFC Championship game. He obviously played well in the Super Bowl against the Eagles 2 years ago, had the Bradbury holding call at the end of the game that decided it on the Butler game-winning field goal. So Juju was 12.5. Now he's 17.5. I think, like, that's good up to 20, so I like Juju. Chiefs running backs are a little difficult. Hunt is correctly lined much more than Pacheco, but that to me is less of a, they're not using Hopkins because Pacheco was hurt. So I think you can create something in your head that says, okay, we're going to see more Pacheco now in this game. Now, 2 weeks off, like maybe we see more Pacheco. So that I want to stay away from. Kelce, I would only bet the over. Xavier Worthy, I'd only bet the over. Hollywood Brown, I don't trust. On the Philly side, A.J. Brown number has been bet up. He's now at 70.5. I feel like A.J. Brown goes over regardless of game state. No matter low-scoring game, he goes over. High-scoring game, he goes over. I think Devontae Smith only goes over if it's a higher-scoring game and the game gets a little loose. Dallas Goedert, I like a lot. I bet him each of the first 3 playoff games for the Eagles. Since he came off IR in Week 18 against the Giants, he's been an absolute beast. He's Jalen Hurts binky over the middle of the field, but his yardage prop has been adjusted up now. It's not in the low 40s, now it's in the low 50s. But if I had to pick one, Goedert or Devontae Smith, I would go with Goedert, but I don't want to get away from the great A.J. Brown.
When you look at this game, do you think both teams are going to try and slow it down? A lot of handoffs. Like Buffalo came out in the second half, ran it right down Kansas City's throat. Do you think Philly will try to establish that kind of game? Maybe get over on Barkley carries, maybe get under on the total?
The Saquon number's really high. I'm a little scared by it. I'm going to stay away from it. If I had to bet it, I would actually bet the under. And I would guess that this is more of a Jalen Hurts game than it is a Saquon.
Jalen Hurts passing or running?
Jalen Hurts passing and Jalen Hurts running. And he was the leading rusher 2 years ago for the Eagles in the Super Bowl. I think 9 for 70. And the Eagles did nothing on the ground with Miles Sanders and Kenny Gainwell. Saquon's obviously better than those guys.
Nick Costos is the host of You Better You Bet, BetMGM Network. Excited for you guys. And, of course, on Peacock with Femi. Say hi.
We will.
All right, let's get to Andrew Bogusch, who's got headlines for us. Bogusch, what's happening?
Maggie Pearl, Kevin Durant is still a Phoenix Sun this morning, apparently shooting down a trade that would have returned him to the Warriors while bringing Jimmy Butler to the desert because KD didn't want that reunion. So the Dubs are taking Butler instead, plus signing him to a 2-year extension worth $111 million. Golden State giving up Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, and a protected first-round pick this summer. The deal also involved the Jazz and Pistons.
Come on, bro.
Heat head coach Eric Spoelstra on the drawn-out breakup.
Every team, you're going to be dealing with something, during the course of a long 82-game season. You can make excuses. You can get distracted. You can do a lot of different things to take your mind off on the task at hand. I really commend our group for staying the course and coming in every day trying to get better.
The Heat
I'm
won.
emo.
The Heat won in Philly last night, 108-101. Players told by fans behind the bench about the trade during the game. We also have the Lakers getting Hornets 7-footer Mark Williams for Dalton Connect, Cam Reddish, and LA's unprotected 2031 number 1, and the Raptors dealing for Pelicans forward Brandon Ingram, all ahead of this afternoon's deadline. On the court last night,
Sean Gilgeous Alexander
had 50 points as the Thunder crushed the Suns 140-109. SGA is the 9th player ever with 3 50-point games in a 7-game span. And now this morning, Chet Holmgren reportedly off the OKC injury report. He could return from his broken hip as soon as tomorrow.
The rich get richer.
The Nuggets thumped the Pels 144-119. Nikola Jokic, Michael Porter Jr. combining for 67 points. The Bucks snapped their 4-game skid 112-102 in Charlotte, and the Cavs left Troy with a 118-115 win on a Darius Garland 31-footer at the buzzer. Maggie, it's time to connect some dots here. Eagles stud D lineman Jalen Carter sees Perloff in his short shorts, and now he's sick. Carter putting in only a limited practice yesterday in New Orleans.
Yeah, I could have seen that coming. I mean, they didn't describe or disclose the illness, so we don't know if he was just faint. Was it actually did he just run a fever? It's like someone from the Louis the 14th time, just like passing out on a couch.
Blinded by paleness.
Yeah, he has double pink eye.
The retinas are just gone.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Hopefully he doesn't need those for the big game. Are you nervous that Jalen Carter is fighting an illness?
Yes. He is the key to this victory for the Philadelphia Eagles. I think everybody knows that.
He's going to be a big piece. I mean, that's for sure. Is he the key? I think the key is actually Saquon and them getting a lead and being able to sit on it. But Jalen Carter is a big piece.
They need him to get that lead. Chris Jones, you could argue, is the key on the other side. We saw Aaron Donald single-handedly blow up a Super Bowl. So defensive tackle can win this game.
It's a lot to put on a young guy, no?
Well, yeah, but he's the best player on the team, I think. Well, no, say him or Saquon. That's a good poll question.
Yeah, well, we did who's the second best person in the game after Mahomes.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said someone else. I said Saquon probably. But then I saw Jalen Carter walking on the street, and his presence is terrifying. I'm telling you, Bogusch are laughing at me like it is a moving mountain of muscle.
I know.
You were not afraid to show him your entire leg.
I know.
Right. Yeah.
Didn't stop you from doing calisthenics like in front of him. I mean, I thought you were trying to help this team.
Whatever. At least I didn't walk straight past the 2,000-yard rush for Saquon Barkley and had no idea who he was like you guys did. Maggie and EJ just walked straight past Saquon.
It's not that we don't know who he is. Yeah. Obviously, we do.
Oh, obviously not.
No, but we were so busy chit-chatting coming into the lobby talking about the show.
Yep. Oh, yeah, right.
Producing the show that we were just engrossed in conversation. We didn't realize that Saquon Barkley walked right by us. Now, to be fair, he was like he had like his hood up. He was not like peacocking around the lobby.
Whatever.
He was hiding.
He broke past you like he did the Washington Commanders linebackers. He's, by the way, that guy is in good shape.
You think so?
I think he's been to the gym a time or two.
Inspiration for all of us.
Did you have pants or shorts on for this encounter?
A bathing suit.
Oh, well, then Saquon's not playing Sunday.
Speedo.
Yeah, he loved us. I mean, I don't think we're making enough. Thanks, Bogusch. Bogusch, hang with us, though. I mean, I don't think we're making enough just to switch back to basketball because we're not going to talk about basketball at all, probably the rest of, until the Super Bowl is over. Don't worry, Manny.
Our group chat still exists, Manny. We're good.
I know. Thank you, Manny, for pointing out that Dennis Schroeder's now been traded twice in the same season. That's a badge of honor nobody wants.
You're welcome.
I feel like KD should be getting a little more criticism for this. Jimmy Butler going to the Warriors is interesting. It's shiny new toy, and how's he going to be with Steph, and can he get along with Draymond? But can we please pay a little attention, Pearl, to Durant not wanting to go to the Warriors? We already know he's a great fit.
Yep.
We have no idea what Jimmy Butler's going to be like. Why wouldn't he go for the more sure thing? He did it, 10 years ago,
So you're saying
6 years ago.
He deserves to be ripped for this.
I think it's just weird that he wouldn't go back, and it's not for basketball reasons. He didn't go back because he's, afraid of what the public's going to say? He's afraid of what Charles Barkley's going to call him a bus rider? Barkley already did that.
So why is he – but he's going to go back and not even win the title again? There's no reason for him to do this.
You can dust off the old playbook, run a couple sets. It'd be way more turnkey. There'd be way fewer question marks if he joined the Warriors than Jimmy Butler.
Well, you asked why are people not criticizing him? I think people are over KD. I mean, I'm sorry. They're kind of getting over LeBron and getting over Steph Curry. We're seeing a passing of the torch. That's why this trade deadline to me is a little funny. We got a lot of old players in the ether who – honestly, we got the Thunder coming up. We got the Rockets coming up. I think that's why people are not focused on
the Lakers. I mean, that will be a headliner.
Jimmy Butler, is he really going to make a difference to anybody at this point? Is KD going to make a difference? I think that's really why it's not front and center.
I get it. And listen, it's not like Butler has been playing great, and it's not like KD. I mean, listen, Butler just hasn't been playing.
Yeah.
Like, period. And KD has dealt with his injuries, too, and you got to be so careful about the load management and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that if this was really just because he was afraid of the headlines and the backlash, that's weak to me.
Oh, okay. That's because you're a big LeBron fan.
It has
And the
nothing
fact
to do
that
with
you
LeBron.
say he's better than Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan didn't have to go to a super team. Of course, it always comes back to LeBron.
Oh, man. I didn't think so. Well, now we get to see LeBron with Luka, and that will be our,
Yeah, another version of a super team.
no doubt. Very, very
Well,
true.
they need one more piece to make it super, though.
That's true. Well, they have until this afternoon. Thank you to EJ Stewart. Fantastic job today being traffic cop. Manny Rodriguez holding down the fort back at HQ. Great job. Thank you to Andrew Bogusch, Andrew Kaplan, just killing it. Thank you to Frank, our engineer here, David Marinick. Thank you to our guests. The Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith was excellent. Jalen Milroe, Gary V, Jim Harbaugh, Demario Davis, Joey Porter Sr., and Nick Costos. We'll see you tomorrow.
You're in a 5-minute break.